When nighttime comes, it's time for the Squid Kids to come out and play here over at IPL. It is time for Sink or Swim 156. I am Soabdan. I'm here with the incredible Putty. And Putty, it's match one. Everybody's fresh off their day of work, school, and what have you. And we've got two great teams here ready to kick us off in Kingdom Bane and Storm Drain.
Yeah, and honestly, they're pretty lucky. They got one of the best maps in the game right now with Robo Ramen. And Zones is it's the classic. So I'm kind of excited to see what they can kind of do on this bit of a comfort pick with the map and mode.
Yeah, I do think it's a little bit interesting how Robo Ramen came to be, it was such a later addition to the game, but really fell into the rotation of maps that everybody loves. I mean, everybody loves playing on Zones. That's kind of like a non-negotiable, but the fact that Robo Ramen was a later addition that came in and stole so many hearts, I think is such an interesting thing for the Splatoon competitive department.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere, but I'm very glad it did because I enjoy playing on it.
Yeah. So, well, what do you like playing about it? Because talk to me. Because what are we expecting these teams to be taking advantage of when it comes to Robo Ramen here?
Well, you got the zone in the middle, of course, but the routes on the sides and the sort of verticality to the stage can add a lot of interesting geometry to play around, and you can see some interesting fights taking place. And I'm kind of curious to see how these players can take advantage of that geometry. And yeah. And after Robo Ramen, we'll get at least Rainmaker over on Hagglefish Market, and if we're lucky, we'll get a look at Mako Mart Tower Control. So this is a first to three, as it is quick and easy, hopefully, but not too easy, because I would like to see these teams get a little bit closer. I'd always love to see the full three as opposed to a nice 2 and done. Yeah, it helps when the matches tell a story, so I'm really hoping we get to see that tower control on Mako Mart. I think that would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, considering how big, looking down the road, some of these, like Hagglefish Market is just huge. You have so many different places for the Rainmaker to move. Mm-hmm. But Mako Mart on Tower Control really does become kind of almost a different game when you look at that. Almost similar to how you said we were talking about you were playing Robo Ramen, right? With all the different levels that have to play on.
Yeah, and Hagglefish, again, is also one of the comfort maps for everyone. I think since launch, it's been kind of the comfort map. And Mako Mart on TC is also pretty comfortable, I think. So I'm really excited to see how the players can play around what each map can offer.
Yeah, and considering now everybody is a little bit more settled into what the meta has kind of looked like, we've gotten our few nerfs, we've gotten our few changes across the spectrum of weapons and things like that. I don't know that I feel like much of that is going to change too much. Has it?
Not really. I mean, Tacticooler is still one of the required specials, unless you want a disadvantage. But now that Zuka has kind of calmed down in the comp scene, I think we might be seeing more varied comps when it comes to special diversity, which will be pretty interesting.
I mean, that will be nice, especially given that, like you said, Bazooka getting that nerf, it really does kind of allow these off kind of meta picks to kind of show up. We've seen a lot of these teams find success with a one trick or with an odd choice, and sometimes that really does kind of make it a little easier. But let's not hold off any longer. Let's get right back in. We are jumping right into Splatoons for game 1 here, and let's see what these teams are bringing to the battle. I think the pencil surprises absolutely no one here. Is they're going to match it? No, it's going to be the Splatling instead. In the back.
Now the pencil kind of has a bit of an advantage over that heavy edit that they're running, due to the range and chargers just generally countering Splatlings. So it'll be interesting to see how they can play this match out.
First cooler is out already for Maritime, who managed to put in some work but can't quite break through the umbrella. It'll be a quick bit of control over from Storm Drain, getting it right over. And I mean, you mentioned it, the cooler is just so important, especially if you can build your first cooler first. Worth noting the blaster in there well as the whale comes out, and it's going to go up and punish the other cooler, but it will be a triple ink strike just to kind of close it out as the rest of Storm Drain builds up that percentage.
Yeah, and now Storm Drain's kind of just playing for zone, trying to keep their position, but all these specials coming out is going to kind of shut them down there. You see they got a kill with the Zuka, and this Kraken coming in to try and stop them from taking the zone.
It stays a little too long and gets punished in that, but the zone has ticked down to the 50% mark. A great bomb shot from the side here of Kingdom Bane, and Lycos, that's going to be a good one. Triple ink strike up. Might just take it to try to flip here. 350 on the clock. Yeah, there it's going to be. We're going to send it a couple swans, pressure the control a little bit, but not quite enough. Kingdom Bane really needs to step forward here and get some pressure out, but they can't get the space. There's no one except this mid to back range to push forward.
Yeah, and it seems like Kingdom Bane's trying to take the zone with their specials, but it's not always easy to force it. And this tent over here is taking an interesting angle and actually helping their team get in, separating the bucket from the heavy edit, which allows Kingdom Bane to take over the zone.
Finally, it will trade the Brella out though, so there's a lot of that defensive positioning gone. The Blaster just firing up, trying to clear the space, does eventually find one, and that's 2 down to the side of Kingdom Bane, and Storm Drain will begin to tick down that pressure a little bit more. Triple ink strike going off in the background, doesn't quite get control back, but it does keep it in the neutral. 3 minutes on the clock here. Still looking for a little bit of pressure from Kingdom Bane. They can't quite get the full control here. Triple ink strike from the side of Storm Drain. Close back out and take control, but they still have so much penalty to go through here.
Yeah, and that 5 lead is going to be very helpful to them as they kind of just try and stall out the rest of the match if they can, or try and finish it if they choose to, but they're kind of getting separated and pushed back. But the Blaster with the flank kind of getting double pick there and possibly helping them secure the zone.
Nate did get punished, but that too was enough to do the damage here, and Storm Drain maintains control after all of that work. And like you said, these angles have been so important. Hornet kind of just playing from the low end, making sure they can get the rest of the way. It'll be an ink strike on the zone to try to buy it out, but Nate goes down there, which gives a slight advantage to Kingdom Bane. Meanwhile, Storm Drain still fighting and getting control of the point. There's going to be a Brella tent pushing through, and that's enough to give them pressure to finally flip it back in Kingdom Bane's way. They'll clear their penalty, and they'll finally start getting a little pressure on the clock here.
Yeah, and this tent is really putting on the pressure onto Storm.
Oh, what a double!
Zuka. Yeah, that was an insane Zuka shot from Vale.
What a great double from Vale. An incredible look, gives them just more time just to keep buying this out. And look at this forward space they're taking. I love this.
Yeah, there's a lot of yellow on the ground right now, and Storm Drain's kind of trying to force their way back into their spawn area, but it's kind of difficult with all these specials. But they do take two picks, and this might help them push forward a little bit more to get zone.
They will crack the cooler, and that will get them in the position. It's just a lone tent trying to keep pressure up. They'll eventually lose control of Kingdom Bane at 14. That's still a decent position, but with Storm Drain now getting it back into position, and now those penalties ticking at about 50%, 50 plus 50 on each side, it means it's going to come down to the wire here in the last minute. Zuka shots not quite getting control. There's just going to be a push. Kraken goes in on Nate. Can't find one. Finally finds him. Doubles back and finds some more. Triple ink strike. Going to try to punish it as Nate runs out of time, but does manage to get out of the way as the last minute hits here. Control fighting back and forth for both of these teams, and this has been close. Bread looking in, does get punished, but the cooler is going to be enough to bring him back sooner. Looking for a little bit more. Hornet keeping that frontline pressure with the half gallon up, and it's enough to get control for now, and they still have 30 ticks left to go on this. Killer Whale in, looking for a little bit more space to buy, and this might be enough to close it out here.
Yeah, and honestly, if Storm Drain keeps up this pressure onto their spawn, they could secure the win here with only 10 seconds left on their penalty. But Kingdom Bane's popping out their tri-strikes to try and separate the zone from Storm Drain, and they do actually secure the zone, which gives a lot of penalty points to Storm Drain, which is nice.
That means overtime is going to be live here in just a few seconds, and it's up to Kingdom Bane to hold out as long as they can to get this. They need to get a cooler up here, looking for a little bit more. Umbrella just making a little bit more space as we hit the last seconds, and this is overtime now. Kraken's up. Nate trying to find it, eventually does chase down the kill, and the ink strike is there. Does go, a mine goes off, but it's not enough to clear it. Finally, there we get control, and Storm Drain flips it back for game one.
That's huge. That Kraken was putting a lot of pressure on them, which helped them get the zone, which is nice. And it's good to see that overtime too, giving them a little bit of a chance to try and fight back, but it just wasn't enough.
I was a little concerned there for the side of Kingdom Bane. It looked like, just from the way they were kind of set up, they never really could get the positioning. What do you think needs to change here going into Hagglefish Market for game 2 and match point?
Honestly, I think they just need to try and... I mean, that tent specifically was doing a good job of separating them. So possibly, if we do see the tent again, which is likely, you know, like, they just need to do a better job of dealing with it, I guess.
I think you're right, because I think that I really did like the way the tent was controlling the space of a lot of those things. It denied a lot of the pressure and bought some space for the backliners, but I wonder if there was not enough, you know, fight in the front line for the side of Kingdom Bane. What do you think on a bigger map like Hagglefish you might bring in to kind of give yourself some more frontline edge here?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, we might see the range blaster again, but I think that range blaster need a little bit more paint support to actually do well with its slaying playstyle. But again, that was kind of difficult against the enemy team's playstyle there. They were putting a lot of pressure, especially on the paint side of things.
You're right, Buddy, though, because it feels like they never really had positioning on that, and when you don't have that ink down, when you don't control the space, it becomes harder to do that. And over on Hagglefish for Rainmaker, space is going to be a bit more, it's going to move quicker. You're going to have to try to get that space and maintain a lot faster. So match point here for Storm Drain. And I mean, I don't know about you, Putty, but do you think, because I don't, if my memory serves me here, I don't believe Kingdom Bane really did have a lot of cooler output. I feel like they were always kind of behind in that cooler special race.
Yeah, their pencil was struggling to get set up and actually be able to paint for cooler or be able to hold on to cooler for very long. So that's probably what did it. The heavy edit kind of was able to push forward with its team a little bit better and play a more supportive frontline playstyle, which probably helped their cooler output.
Yeah, getting your backline in a safe position is always one of those things that's so hard in this game, but is also so crucial to find your success. And since, you know, we are on match point for Storm Drain, I mean, success is key. So let's go see match point here on game 2. Rainmaker over in the market. Let's see what changes as we come in here.
So it seems like Kingdom Bane is sticking with the same comp. Actually, both teams are sticking with the same comps.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this can work out. Hopefully, hopefully Kingdom Bane can change something.
Well, it's going to start here with this initial Rainmaker burst, and that will be the Tent Umbrella coming in to buy a little more space, not quite able to get anything out. First pick goes the way of Storm Drain, so they'll likely clear this up once they get some space in there. I see one going deep, but gets immediately punished in, and Hornet is just going deep, right, trying to set us up for a quick one, putting pressure onto the pencil. No gets pushed out, sends in the whale, but it's not enough. And meanwhile, Bread is just going in deep. Maritime will bring the Rainmaker in, and that is already one checkpoint down.
Yeah, and that secure checkpoint is actually pretty huge here, because on Haggle, this part is where the pressure really starts to fall down upon you. And this Kraken actually getting 2 kills there, those are pretty huge. And this might be where they secure the W.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Nice and easy, just like that.
Very
making
fast.
it look incredibly simple, washing it all down. I mean, that's a nice, easy 2-0 for Storm Drain. It looked pretty practiced. They looked like they knew exactly what their game plan was. It looked very clinical from them.
Yeah, Rainmaker is definitely a comfort mode for them, I would say. They kind of, after that first checkpoint, they just absolutely demolished their spawn. So that kind of secured them the win. And on a mode like Rainmaker, you know, there's no penalty points, so they're able to just run it down.
Yeah, that's I mean, thankfully they did give us they did force us to go through earlier checkpoints. You couldn't just, you know, run it as far as you can. You didn't have to get back to 1 as the dangers of Splatoon 2 was. But, well, with a 2-0 from Storm Drain, we aren't going to see Makamar, and that will be the end of round 1. So we'll see Storm Drain in those future rounds for now. After a quick round one, we are back for more incredible sink or swim action. I am Soav here once again with Putty, and we've got quite a banger of a matchup coming here. We've got Solo Q versus Sekiznaga. Excuse me, that's a tough one for me. But we were talking about it a little backstage, but Solo Q is one of those names that we've seen around, and I think we've got some high expectations for them here.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of them, but apparently everyone else has. So I'm kind of excited to see some interesting plays from them specifically, especially on a stage like Undertow Spillway, on a mode like Rainmaker with Undertow Spillways focusing on those choke points is going to be crucial to securing a win. So.
You're absolutely right, especially with these little changes to that, and with players like Reyes, Allegro, Typo, and Carlos over on Solo Q. I expect, they've done this a million times. I expect they know what to do. But across from them on Sekiznaga, we don't know which of the six it's going to be, but we're going to have Drakere, Sendra, Mashiba, Nue, Stupid, and Rod. Just Rod at the end of there. We don't know which of those six we'll see at first, but these are two teams that are obviously a bit stacked. What do you make of the six team here in Sekiznaga? Like, what do you think? Why six? Why do you build a roster that deep?
Sometimes you just want to have people on your team who you know are good, and sometimes not everyone's schedules can sync up, and that means you got to have some extra players on your team. And that's probably what Sekiznaga is doing with the six-man team, and they can always swap in and out players if they need a specific, one trick or a specific weapon pool.
Let's hope they do have that. But jump over back to the map, because you mentioned Undertow Spillway already here for Rainmaker. Game 2, we will see everybody's favorite Ink Block Art Academy for tower control, and if we're lucky enough for a Game 3, we might see our first Clan Blitz of the night at Museum. And Inkblot is actually going to be the really interesting one to me. I know a lot of teams and a lot of players don't really care for Undertow, but I feel like Inkblot in Game 2 is going to be really the closer one. Everybody loves and plays Inkblot.
Yeah, especially on tower control, Inkblot is pretty fun overall. A lot of space to work around with, but we're going to go ahead and go into round one with Rainmaker on Undertow.
Let's see what the teams are bringing in here. It looks like we do see a Slosher and a Bloblobber coming out. And across from them, that looks a little bit more what we're expecting to see. But I will say the Junior is a little interesting. I like the bubble coming in here, and the Dooley's a bit more aggressive. So let's see what happens as we initially pop this bubble. Still fighting for a lot of control. And yeah, now you can see it. Now that these choke points you had pointed out are a little bit more open, it's going to come a lot down to these subs, and that's where I think the Bloblobber is going to shine. Ichi looking in, trying to pressure out that Bloblobber on the left there, but can't quite get it. And Drakere going to sit in the comfort of the bubble, just try to pressure out a little bit more space. Rainmaker still in the neutral, goes for it, but gets pushed back. And first 30 seconds, and we haven't even seen a pickup here.
Yeah, they're Sekiznaga's attempt at taking that left side kind of led to them getting pushed back, and kind of seems to let Solo Q get close to that checkpoint, but that Inkjet kind of shuts down the Rainmaker there, which is huge for Sekiznaga.
It does eventually get punished for it, but with Sekiznaga down 2, it's going to be a tough pickup. That'll be a bubble, that'll be a dome, and the cooler down to try to make their stand. But we'll send the Kraken in to try to clear that space up, and didn't find any picks there, but it looks like Solo Q is sneaking their way in. There is Ink, but they will get stopped just before it, and that's going to, that's going to be a lot of space made there. But a bubble pop, Sekiznaga is going to try to push again, can't quite get there, and Solo Q still pretty firmly in control. They're going to get one, and they'll get this across the line for the first checkpoint.
Yeah, and Solo Q kind of forced that checkpoint there. That was a pretty nice play from them, especially with that Zuka to kind of force that checkpoint into their control. And now they're just kind of trying to force their way into second checkpoint, kind of take more space to lead them straight to the win.
2 down for Solo Q means that the push is stalled for now, but Sekiznaga not really able to kind of capitalize on this. They'll drop the bubble here really quickly and try to buy the space, but can't quite get it. Raise does fall in it, and that's finally, I think, the opening that Drekirex is gonna try to get there now with the Rainmaker in hand. Mashiba's gonna try to push here, give up a little space, and try to get an extra pick before moving forward. Does eventually get spotted out here with a little under 3 on the clock.
Yeah, and that crab shot or whatever it was just killed 3 people there, which allows solo queue to kind of push up really far here and take a nice lead.
Ooh.
That brief slider did absolutely nothing, which is kind of insane. And that wipeout from Sekiznaga allows them to take the Rainmaker and get back on their feet.
Yeah, but they're going to have to move quick here. 2:30 on the clock, and they have a lot of space to make up because it's 32 against them. So Director X is going to try to take this high ground and try to push along the left side here, looking for a spot on their own. But the picks are around, and solo queue has them surrounded, so they will get the stop there. And I mean, at least you got it past the midline here. 2 minutes on the clock, but Sekiznaga just has so much to do here.
Yeah, especially with solo queue trying to find these picks and take extra space along with it. And it looks like we're going to take a fight on this right side, and solo queue getting 1 pick, kind of pressuring them off of that snipe there and taking the Rainmaker around the left side.
It was all a distraction to get that left side clear, as you can kind of see it. Solo queue did manage to get around, and Allegro just trying to find one. Does find one, kind of blind. They find his Litchi over across the blind. They do manage to get there, but they are found out, and solo queue just getting it to 14 with 1:30 on the clock means that's a good enough for a win con here. Sekiznaga going to start the long haul back.
Yeah, and on a map like Undertow, that 14 lead is basically a secure win, unless we can see Sekiznaga pull something kind of crazy here.
Well, they do have 1 special up, and they have 2 picks, so they could possibly make this work. Farina is deep on those dapples. They're just under the roof slider, looking to get 1. Can't quite find it out, and doesn't eventually get punished for it. They did manage to pop that first point, but they still have quite a ways to go.
Yeah, and that Inkjet there taking over their grate was pretty big. It got them a pick, and now they're just trying to force their way through this last choke here, but the Tri-Sloshers' big AoE hitbox is kind of just controlling this entire area over here.
Allegro gonna go out and quench the squad's thirst here with just a little under 30 seconds on the clock. And this is a good position for solo queue. They have control of the Rainmaker. They can just kind of sit back on this, and you can see it. Typo not really in a position that they're just gonna let it reset. They have no reason to push on it, and they're just gonna let it go here. 20 seconds on the clock, and the bubble will burst, but it's gonna be Sekiznaga who's gonna get the first grab of it. They still have to go. They'll get the overtime trigger.
Yeah, and if they do get overtime, they're going to have to force their way through this last choke, and they are getting close. As long as they can take space, they do avoid the Kraken, which is huge, and take down the blob, but it's not enough.
No.
They get a sneaky little pick on the Rainmaker, and that shuts the game down.
Why did we chase that kill? Putty, why did we chase that kill? I don't understand. What was going on? Why did we chase that? We had a path wide open. Why did we chase that kill?
Well, I mean, it's a threat, and when you see a threat and you're playing a game as fast as Splatoon, you kind of want to shut down that threat as soon as possible and secure a kill, but it seems to not have gone in their favor.
I think in the business we call that a unfortunate decision, as it will cost Sekiznaga their shot at Undertow Spillway. Solo queue will go to 1 and match point here as we move over to Inkblot Art Academy. I mean, solo queue looked pretty dominant there. They seem to move pretty effectively. How does Sekiznaga adapt to that?
Well, you could see in the last match, the solo queue kind of adopted a very defensive playstyle once they secured that really big lead. So I think if that happens again, Sekiznaga is really going to have to play super aggressive and take different angles. And kind of, they kind of need to focus on getting some more picks before pushing up or taking at least a little bit more space. Maybe grabbing a few specials along the way and kind of forcing their way through those chokes. But on a mode like Tower Control, the tower's going to be moving extremely slow. So I'm kind of curious to see how they can adapt to that mode.
Yeah, in a game that's about space, and especially when the space is moving like this for Tower Control, it's going to be very difficult. But I will say, I think the one thing for Sekiznaga, they didn't really have too deep of a backline. It felt like they were very more of a frontline aggressive team. So I mean, in a bigger map like Inkblot, do you think that might be something that punishes them or helps them here?
It really depends. But if they do I kind of agree with you on that. I think the backline, more backline playstyle for at least someone could have helped there, and secured them some extra leeway and space if they do start to get pushed. But on a map like Inkblot, there are some good spots where people can get set up weapons like Pencil, or any other chargers, or Heavy Edit even, can help them secure a lot of space and save for jumps to keep a push going.
And, well, considering Solo Q has pushed Sekiznaga to the match point here, it's all going to come down to what changes in. Maybe we'll even get a chance to see at the depth of Sekiznaga's roster. You know, we looked at their kind of 6-man squad, and you know, I'm wondering now maybe if there's something. You know, I'm wondering if what's in the, you know, maybe we pulled our backliner, maybe we have a backliner in the wait. We'll have to see what happens when we load in, but you know, I gotta wonder if maybe there's like a depth of roster that we'll see coming in for the change here.
Yeah, maybe they'll swap in one of their other players who had to sit on the bench last match. You never know.
Yeah, surely you got a scope, or a scope player, or you got a swaddling player back there, right? Like every team in a meta where Pencil and Cooler is so strong, you almost have to have one on your team, right?
Yeah, usually people just force themselves to learn Pencil as sort of a backup option in case, you know, their weapons just don't fit or don't work. So I'm curious to see if we'll see that crutch with the Pencil.
Well, get your crutches out, because there's no because we're gonna be moving pretty slow here on tower control. Let's kick it off and see what the teams are changing and bring it in here. Looks like a blaster and a squeezer on one side, and there is that Pencil from the side of Sekiznaga. So we'll see a few of those changes come up. Not much for them, but Solo Q has looked like they've made some adaptations.
Yeah, that Pencil there is going to be huge on this map specifically, and we'll kind of see, the Dapples are already down, which is not very good for Sekiznaga now that they're down a player, and it seems like their Squeezer player is taking that top right spot, which is kind of pressuring this ramp over here.
Solo Q takes the early lead here, pushing out past 10, and it's the blaster just checking spaces and making sure you can hit your shots here. Hits him from low, but doesn't quite get out. Ray's feeling the pressure, does manage to trade out though. So that is a huge trade for them. Solo Q is down 2, and finally Sekiznaga will get a chance to prove that'll move Richie up to the front with that jetpack, and that will help the Pencil move up a little bit faster.
Yeah, now that all of Solo Q's players are at this front spot, it's going to be a little difficult for them to push the tower past this point, especially with that crab on top and that Zuka pressuring them from another angle. But it seems like they pushed it past that checkpoint, which is pretty big for them.
It cost a lot in the special department, but it got them through there, and it got them the lead at 66. And they will get control again here as they'll give up some space. Raze has to get out of dodge when that ends, but they'll look to try to trade out here as Solo Q gets control of the tower one more time. Pencil still up on that medium high ground, looking for shots, can't really get it out. Cooler is down for the side of Solo Q, and that'll give Raze a chance to go a little bit deep. Richie tracking that and catches Raze out. A great catch from them, but not quite enough to find another. And meanwhile, the cart has still been rolling the whole way through. Sekiznaga at 48 with a little under 3.5 on the clock. That is a huge change of pace from game 1.
Yeah, Sekiznaga has definitely changed something. Their special output is kind of carrying them on these pushes, which is very nice. But it seems like we got a bit of a battle here for tower. But with 2 players down, Solo Q's going to have to hold their position for now until they can get their teammates back in to push mid.
Yeah, Solo Q's getting a taste of their own medicine here. You know, now that Sekiznaga has control of the tower and they have the lead, they don't need to sit on it. Meanwhile, speaking of sitting on it, Carlos will eventually get over onto the cart, but still has to push this tower. They'll get the bazooka and only find 1 before they trade out. It's a good push, but it might not have been worth the full special here. Mashiba looking for shots from that Pencil. Oh, gets checked in the face by that Inkjet. Doesn't quite feel the paint, but does manage to get forced out, and there'll be a cooler down out of Solo Q. We're just emptying everything in this. They have passed the first checkpoint, and they are clearing this with a little close to 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, but they are getting pushback from Sekiznaga as they get the picks and take their space back. But it looks like Solo Q, specifically this Dualies player, is trying to take the tower back by themselves, which is kind of insane.
Man's out in Narnia out here trying to play for the win, but Ray's going in up on the high ground looking for a little bit more. Has been successful before. Sees him on the high ground, can't quite get the shots, but does manage to buy a little bit of space. Last shot, and they'll have to get out here as the cart rolls to 58. And Carlos trying to get deep, eventually get forces out, and that's 2 down to the side of solo queue. And the cart will roll back the other way. That'll be 1 on the way out from Typo, but it's not enough to really secure any sort of space here.
It is incredible how fast these players, how fast solo queue is getting shut down every time they try and push this ramp. No matter how many specials they use, they just can't seem to get past it. But Litchi here is trying to just 1v3 them and almost won that, I'm gonna be honest.
A bold strategy almost paid off there, but did get run over by the reef slider as it cleared some space, and solo queue continues to put the pressure on the cart from this high ground. They'll send in the crab, but it's not enough to quite get everything out of the way. They're gonna send in the jet as well, and it gets immediately picked out of the air. So Sekiznaga with a minute on the clock, still holding on to a lead, only 10 points, but it might be enough to make us go to the map 3 here.
Yeah, but Sekiznaga is down 2 different players as solo queue is trying to push up this ramp once again. And that Zuka is going to take them off of that left side, which might help them secure the lead here, but the Tri-Slusher goes down trying to defend the tower. But we'll see if solo queue can get jumps back in and keep this push going.
There's going to be time for one more push, and with one member of solo queue going down early, it might be a little difficult to push back in, but the pencil falls. That means Cooler's out for this. It's going to be the Inkjet sent in just to try to get a little bit of space and a little bit of pressure from the side of solo queue. Cart's at mid now, so the tower still has a ways to go. They'll finally get on and try to pressure out, but there's not really space for them. The pencil has that range. Push them out. Solo queue now nearing overtime. Has to try to get a pick. They find 1, they find 2. There'll be quick respawns here. And it looks like Carlos is going to try to get in. Finds 1 on the high ground. Sends in the bazooka. Finds 2. Looking out. And that's a wipeout, which means solo queue might steal this from behind.
Yeah, the specials there definitely got them to force through that. And now they've taken the lead and taken the game, which is incredible. That was a very good overtime play from them.
Yeah, a great read from them and a great use of special. Solo queue. You know what? We were looking at them beforehand, and they lived up to expectations here. So kudos to them for managing to do so.
Yeah, their pressure was just constant. They kept trying to push up that ramp constantly, and honestly, the other team just could not secure mid for the last half of that match. So solo queue with that pressure was able to just force it into overtime and force them into the win, which is nice.
A nice win for them, and unfortunately we don't get the game 3 here, but we will have round 3 coming up shortly. And I want to take one more second to look over this, because you know you talked about how difficult it was to try to get that pressure up that ramp. And what do you think really was like? What do you think they were fighting into that made it so difficult? Because obviously they didn't quite have control of the space, but what made it so difficult to get up that ramp? What kept punishing them?
Well, the pencil specifically was shutting down their inkjet pretty consistently. That every time solo queue would pop inkjet, it would be around the same area, and I think that Sekiznaga could just read exactly and where it was going to go and just shut it down instantly. But I think the help from the Zuka on that last push helped them kind of push that pencil and those other players up there back and secure that space that they needed.
Sometimes you're skillful and sometimes you're lucky. And in the case of solo queue, it looks like it was a little bit of both. But we'll say adios to these two teams. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back for our round 3 in just a minute. Hang tight, don't go anywhere, collect your points. We'll be back for more. Welcome back. We've warmed up the pool for you here in round 3, and we've got two teams that are, well, ready to go. We've got Almond Nuts and a Secret Elixir, two things that are probably delicious in their own particular ways. I'm still up here with Putty, and, well, you know, this looks a little similar to last time. We see the 4 members of Almond Nuts taking on the 5 of Secret Elixir, and, you know, we were talking about this just a little bit earlier in the break, that hopefully we don't see another 2-0 out of these teams.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for a little bit more of a well, I'm kind of waiting for a 3-game match here, but it hasn't come. But I think Secret Elixir and Almond Nuts, I think we'll probably see it to game 3.
I really hope so, because of the Almond Nuts, we've got Tenor, Komodo, Jay, and Mystic coming up against Kurta, BT, Davernape, Jer, and Sota. And I got to assume that here in round 3, now that all the teams are warmed up, everybody's looking, you know, everybody's playing well. We've hit our peaks. We're ready to go. And especially here over on Shipshape Cargo, everybody's favorite location for splat zones, as we all know it. This is probably one of those ones that's going to be an interesting map.
Yeah, Shipshape Cargo on zones is pretty interesting, especially with the zone being located below the top 2 areas that players most like to play around. And the zone is kind of shaped a little oddly, so we might see some more difficulty in capping the zone specifically. But we can take a look at these other maps too.
Yeah, once we get out from under the boat, we'll head over to Humpback Pump Track for the Rainmaker run in game 2, and you know, we're still dreaming, we're still hoping for a game 3 where we'll hopefully see Tower Control at Sturgeon. But this is quite a set of maps here. I gotta say, I don't know anybody who's really excited about, maybe Humpback, but I don't know anybody who's really excited for any of these map mode combos.
Yeah, they're pretty mid, I'm gonna be honest. But no, I'm joking.
No, you said it. I respect it. That's a take.
But yeah, I mean, splat zones on Shipshape, I already talked about that. But Rainmaker on Humpback is a pretty often picked map mode, just because, well, Rainmaker specifically is not really that fun of a game mode, but Humpback kind of shows its charm a little bit with how you can push to that second checkpoint, specifically through that choke towards the right side. But Sturgeon Shipyard Tower Control is going to make it a little bit of a slower match. But we'll see that if we get to it.
I think the interesting thing for Humpback here is, and Sturgeon to a point too, you know, a lot of teams, you know, especially from Splatoon 2, like a lot of these maps were kind of solved in a lot of ways, right? Like these almost feel like going back home, like comfort picks for a lot of ways. So maybe they're not your favorite modes and maps, but they're still very, you know, like everybody kind of knows the plays, the pushes you got to make, and where you got to get control of. So I think Shipshape is probably going to be the best indicator for what we're going to see out of these teams. And given that, I mean, who do you think? Let's talk here as we load in. What do we think we're going to see? Let's check out what happens in splat zones over here on wherever I said we were under the boat. But it looks like we don't see anything too scary here. Nothing too out of place.
We are seeing a lot of juniors this tournament, which is interesting to me, and also a lot of tents. But the players are going to be rushing towards zone and going to start fighting at this middle area. And Secret Elixir is already pushing up past the zone, trying to take these kills. And it's kind of working in their favor right now with that double kill right there from Winston.
Winston, okay, we see you there, buddy. Don't you worry, you get your credit too. But they also have that 70-point lead, and like you said, yeah, I love that aggressive play out of them. That was really, really good here. They'll give Jarrett a chance to take this forward position. Can't quite get anything out with the pencil, but they do have a cooler up, so that'll get popped to go. One goes down, but it does force out the triple ink strike, and Brendan just gonna try to get back. They'll get up the space they've got here for now.
Yeah, they're trying to hold this space in front of zone here, and they get a pick. They get a second pick with the Zuka, which is massive. But the pencil over there is kind of saving for jumps, and the Squeezer gets a nice sneaky kill on one of Secret Elixir. They're going to try and retake the zone with that Zuka and those strikes.
They're gonna have to move quick though, because it's already 5 on the clock, and Secret Elixir making this look easy. I thought this was gonna be a tough match. Secret Elixir made me look the fool. I have clearly drank from the wrong cup.
Yeah, Secret Elixir kind of just came in there and showed us who's boss, I guess. So maybe I was wrong about it getting to game 3, but we'll have to see on this next match.
I think there's one thing that stood out to me from this match really quickly with how quick it was, and that was the aggression that Secret Elixir showed. You know, they quickly got control of the map, and you commented on it, how quickly they went deep and how quickly they were willing to kind of push the space. But I feel like that was just the right decision to make for them.
Yeah, it was almost natural to them, and right after they took zone, they just pushed straight into them and kind of caught them off guard, and took as much space as they could as quickly as they got cooler down, which meant that, you know, even if Almond Nuts did wipe them out, they'd be back, you know, just like that. So insane, absolutely incredible pressure from them right off the gate.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's insane pressure, and that is quite a statement to make for the side of Secret Elixir. So we'll not take too much longer here. Already on match point for Secret Elixir, and Almond Nuts getting left at the bottom of the bowl here. I mean, surely now that you're in Humpback, where you have a little bit more space and you can kind of, like we said, it's a little more set up, you can kind of know where you're going. Surely this gives them a little more balanced, you know, this is more of an even battlefield, right? This has to be.
Yeah, I think Almond Nuts is going to need to adapt to this fast play style that Secret Elixir is kind of forcing onto them, especially on a map mode like Humpback Rainmaker, but we'll see that in this match right now.
It's match point here over on Humpback Pump Track, so let's see what changes and adaptations the team have made. Looks like none coming in from one side. I'm sorry, we will see a pencil coming in from one side. Ooh. And we will see the end zap. Brandon picking up the end zap. We'll see a wiper. Okay, this is a whole different comp out of the side of Secret Elixir.
Yeah, the wiper and the wellstring, it just came out of nowhere, but it's going to help them pop that Rainmaker shield and apply a lot of pressure onto that tent, which the tent instantly goes down. The squeezer goes down too. Secret Elixir is playing insanely fast, just like they did last game, but those strikes are going to kind of force them to play a little bit slower and get separated from their front row teammate.
I have a chat. I'm afraid here because this is looking not good for Almond Nuts, but they do manage to get 3 down, which means even though they lost that initial point, they will get it back in their control here with 60 for the side of Secret Elixir. Initial pick onto them, make that 2, means that Almond Nuts, well, they'll be able to hopefully get some of the space back and be able to move the Rainmaker in their possession.
Yeah, now that Almond Nuts is in mid, they can kind of take all this space and apply some extra pressure on Secret Elixir, which is trying to take back that space. We're kind of seeing a stalemate here as we kind of wait for these players to make plays, but the tent does go down. But it seems like Almond Nuts does have their cooler down, so even if this Ultra Stamp, which it does secure 1 kill, we're gonna have to see where Secret Elixir goes from here, because they're already taking a lot of space.
Yeah, but they've sent in every single special, and there's the hammer again. Can't quite get anything. It's gonna get yeeted up, and it just barely misses across on the side of Almond Nuts. Secret Elixir come up again with the control. All that hard fought space and time spent for Almond Nuts coming to nothing here, as it's under 330 now, and the rest of Secret Elixir is gonna find and take the space. The 10th again, another first pick. This is the worst case scenario. The second goes down for Almond Nuts, and that means this is just a free path here. This is just a free run. Jarrett's just, I mean, look at that. They went to the other side. That's dirty. They went to the other side of the...
And they're going to get it anyway. They're just going to force it, even though the Rainmaker went down, which, again, that pressure, that speed is unmatched from Almond Nuts. And I guess it ends the match with a 2-0 from Secret Elixir.
Wow, that was almost disrespectful. That was almost, look, I'll circle the last pedestal. You can't even hit us. But what a statement coming out from the side of Secret Elixir. A very quick 2-0, and wow. I mean, I think the thing that stands out for me here is, I mean, that was a very calculated team, you know, like weapon select, right? Like that was a whole different team. They knew clearly what they wanted to do here for Secret Elixir. Yeah,
that wellstring was it kind of makes sense. The wellstring has insane object damage, or has extreme object damage, Excuse me. So using it to pop that Rainmaker shield as soon as it comes up is probably what they were focusing on there. And then the Wiper, probably just to kind of skirmish around and get small picks on any Almond Nuts team members who have just so happened to got separated.
And it really did punish them, especially the tent player who just kind of got caught out, which is wild because it's such a, you notice we've seen a few more of them, but it's such a defensive weapon. To get caught out like that a few times just feels a little odd to me.
Yeah, that tent player definitely was struggling to keep up, but I don't blame them, especially against a comp like that with the well strings, insane object damage, and honestly stringers in general, kind of, especially the ones with the AoE darts, kind of just countering umbrellas in general. So you know, it's not surprising, and it's a little unfortunate.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for Almond Nuts. They'll go back in the bag for now as we head to round 4, but a congratulations to Secret Elixir, who just get even better with age. So we'll send it away for another quick break, and round 4 will be just around the corner in a second. 78 teams entered the arena today to swim, and 62 have sunk. And now here we are at our top cut. I am So Avdanum here with Putty, and we've got the fat stack of AAA batteries versus my SeaBae, whatever you might be of the sea. But we've got two groups of friends here who all know each other pretty well, so this is bound to be an interesting match, Putty.
Yeah, we know these teams are friends, so I'm kind of excited to see how they're going to play against each other. If they're going to get a little silly with it, or even a little funky with the types of plays or weapons that they're going to pull out. But we'll have to wait and see.
Should be an interesting thing when you play against friends. You never know what it is. But for the AAA batteries, we've got Okimi, Grant, Amari, and Luna. And over on the side of SeaBae, we've got Kilchus, Epoch, Nokotan, Boo Womp, and Cat over on the side of SeaBae. And we're going to kick it off, like you said, some teams with Inkling Art Academy. It's going to be our first clams of the night. So that's exciting for me because I love me some good clan blitz. I love the teamwork and the strategies that require to come into clan blitz. And I think it's a good way to kick off the top cut here.
Yeah, especially on a map like Inkblot, I'm kind of excited to see clams here. Like you said, clams is a very team-based mode. So we're probably going to be seeing a lot of coordination and team play, and that'll be exciting.
Yep. After that, we'll head on over back to Robo Ramen for the Rainmaker run. And if we're lucky, maybe on stream finally, we'll get our first game 3 of the night for Ship-Shaped Cargo Zones. But that's down the line. Let's jump back over to Inkblot Art Academy because tell me a little bit more, because the game has changed. Clan Blitz, used to be a lot of set plays that, kind of have taken a bit of a nerf in a lot of ways. So what kind of strategies are teams using nowadays to really make sure they can get in and secure those baskets?
It's a lot of locking out. It's a lot of putting a lot of pressure on certain points of the map, specifically on the opponent's plat underneath the basket. Because if you control that area, you can, kind of lead clams straight in. And the more space you have in Clan Blitz, the more area you have to work with in terms of getting points into the goal. But again, you need to focus on putting that pressure towards that front area. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these players play around this map mode, and we're gonna go ahead and get into it though.
Yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into Clan Blitz. Here we go. First round of our top cut. Let's see what the teams are bringing in. I see a wiper. I see a bucket. I see a pencil. Looks pretty standard for me, but I do see the blaster and the Splatana coming out this time.
Yeah, the custom blaster and the Splatana, those are our first for our cast today. So it's going to be exciting to see what those two can do. I've seen some pretty good players with those two weapons. But right now, they're just kind of fighting over mid, trying to take control of these left and right sides. Left side's kind of seeing a lot of pressure, but they're going to move over to that right side over on SeaBae's ramp.
The first cooler is down, and Epic doesn't quite have the ink to really take the pressure on, but both of those players, a great shot right there, just to kind of lead it in. They did build a power clamp, so they're going to try to push it. Epic's looking to take that ramp. They can't quite get the pressure out. A couple specials up, but the blaster goes down, and so does the Splatana, so the push is as good as dead here.
Yeah, but if that pencil can back up and get safe jumps in, and possibly even a cooler for the respawn, it could seem like they could take mid back. But it seems like AAA batteries are kind of getting some picks and pushing onto their plant, so we'll see where that goes.
Capture goes in, does manage to find one on the way out, and it's going to be Epic with one of their own to try to get their through. Meanwhile, Grant just defending here, trying to push in. Zuka goes in, looks for 2, gets to the double, looking for the third, can't quite get there. It'll be the cooler to clear the rest of the space, and finally AAA batteries get one in, and they'll start chunking those away at the basket. 62, and the hammer goes in as well to draw a little bit more attention, does catch one, and it punishes the cooler over there. Meanwhile, the basket continues to fill, 56 and counting. Is there any more even left? There's the last one at 53. It's still a little bit more time, but it looks like AAA batteries have run out of energy for now.
Yeah, that Splatana play with that Ultra Stamp, that was harassing the entirety of SeaBae for long enough to get a 53 lead on them, which is big.
It is a huge opener. 315 is going to be a triple ink strike to open it up. And, well, everybody out of AAA Batteries managed to survive for now. Cooler does go down for the side of AAA, and just there goes the picks. They'll find 2 to start with, and they have 1 clam up, so they have a little bit to work with here. Triple ink strike goes in to clear a little bit more space. Doesn't quite find anything, but it does try to push out. No, it's going to be 1 going down from the side of AAA Batteries, and it means that those 2 power clams are stalled for now.
And it looks like AAA Batteries is trying to get a push going here, kind of trying to force it. And they do get 2 picks there, which could give them a lot of room to push in. But they are kind of juggling these balls right now. I think they're getting ready for a jump in, but I don't think we're going to see that.
No, 15, make that 17 in the clam economy. 2 and 3 full power clams. There's the 24, so 3 clams up. It's actually enough to basically clear and get a full complete here. The hammer goes in, gets 1, but it immediately is traded out by the pencil. And, you know, that's 1 down now, so that's a bit of a loss for AAA Batteries.
Yeah, SeaBae seems to have control of mid here, which might allow them to get a nice, clean push. They don't have any specials, but the Blaster is trying to force some kills, but they do get shot down by the pencil. And it looks like the bucket is actually pushing on to SeaBae's plat and does get a kill and scores.
Hello? Yeah, they cleared the penalty down now down to 35, and I mean, that's enough to keep a pretty strong lead here with under 2 minutes for the side of AAA Batteries. AAA Batteries is a pickup, so these guys are coming together pretty quickly to make a name for themselves here. It's going to be a hammer down, but immediately gets picked from a great slash from Epic. Just a great read, and now in the position to push forward. Yeah, and they're kind of trying to play safe here because they don't want to. They want to make sure they wait for Cooler before they get a push going. But the Blaster going down mid splashdown. But it looks like AAA Batteries doesn't care very much as they just get a wipeout and are now try-zuking their spawn. Here we go. We're in it now. They're in it, but there was no follow-up. There was nothing to capitalize on it. So they're just maintaining the space, which is a huge thing for them. But you know, it's not like they can really take advantage. Epic gets taken out on the way out from Tinny, but I mean, you don't have the clam economy to lead it out. They finally have 10. They might be able to get a clam back in, but under the last minute here, AAA Batteries is basically well equipped to close this out. Yeah, it's kind of incredible how fast that push failed, but they're immediately going for another score. And I think this time, and they lost the power clam there, but let's see if they can get it back. They did lose 1 and 2, but it looks like the rest of SeaBae are pushing up, and they'll push those spaces back. So they will have a power clam going into this last overtime push, and a great late pick for the side of SeaBae gives them an opening here. Fumiko going to take that off angle just to try to put some pressure down and deny the space, but it's the last of the Cooler, and that's going to have to be a success. Triple ink strike is there, matched by 1 from the side of SeaBae, but it's not enough to get it out, and the Spatana is in. Manages to find 1 and 2, but SeaBae are down 2, and this is basically done. Tinny out as well, and the last 10 seconds, I mean, SeaBae has a lifeline here, but it's going to be a tough push in overtime. Yeah, especially now that AAA has control of mid, they're probably just going to be able to secure this win. Unless we see something come from SeaBae. The Stamper does have Zipcaster, so never mind. He just gets a nice trade on the Wiper there. It looks like the Bucket's trying to push onto Plant, but they fall fairly quickly, and Grant secures the score. Oh, shuts that right down for AAA Batteries. So game 1 going their way, and it's hard to call that anything less than pretty dominant. SeaBae getting shut out from the clams and the basket on a single point in is quite a statement in the opening of the top cut here. Yeah, every push they did, not every single one worked, but when they did score a lot. So they were able to secure a very good lead early on and keep the pressure on throughout, which I think helped them secure the win. SeaBae now on the verge of match point here. AAA Batteries leading 1-0 to close it out. Heading over to Robo Ramen. I mean, SeaBae is looking pretty beat right now. So what do we got to do, Putty, if we're the coach of SeaBae? What changes do we make? How do we keep ourselves alive here? I mean, honestly, I think the special output on SeaBae, or specifically the specials that they were choosing to use, were not helping them very much. So I think if they were able to control a little bit more space and pop their specials a little bit more forward and in a more coordinated way, I think they might be able to secure some more kills and push towards the objective a little bit more. That's the hope. They're gonna have one last shot to do this, and I think you've got a good look on it, especially considering that we talked about this a little bit earlier, but both of these teams know each other pretty well. A lot of friends, a lot of friendly fire, and probably a little bit of smack talk going on there. So, I mean, at least if you're gonna get knocked out in the bracket section, you'd rather it be to like your friend than someone right? It could be much worse.
I mean, that's a little controversial. I don't want my friends in my DMs telling me how bad I am, but
All right, fair enough. I don't know. I'd rather be able to tell them to talk smack and see them in the next one, but at least you can talk smack to your friends. That's at least my feeling. But
we're gonna see Rainmaker on Robo Ramen with this next match, and we could see a 2-0 from AAA here if they play their cards correctly. Rainmaker on Robo Ramen's not a map I see very often, but we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. So we'll see what these teams can do.
I don't expect much changing from both of these teams. We're kind of pretty set for the most part. Yeah, we do see a regular splatter shot come in. And there's a junior and a junior and a squeezer coming in for the side of AAA Battery. So a little bit, for the side of SeaBae. So a little bit of a change of pace. And I don't know, like you said, the uptick in junior is very interesting, a lot more defensive, so I really do like that. And they'll be rewarded for that defensive play with a little bit, with those two, make it 3 opening picks, so they'll get first shot at the Rainmaker here with this early wipeout.
That was very fast.
That's quick.
Right off the bat, straight to the first checkpoint, taking no notes. But it looks like AAA is going to put up a fight to try and keep them from getting past this first checkpoint. But they kind of run it and get a pretty good lead with that solid 40 points.
Yeah, that's enough of a position, but Robo Ramen is small, so with plenty of time on the clock, there's still anything possible here. Grant looking in, has to give up the bazooka, try to get one, catches a pick with a pick one midair, didn't quite trade out, continues the bear for the follow-up, and then gets a little more in the second one, so they'll finally start to get a little bit moving on the side of AAA Batteries. Not out of juice just yet.
Now, AAA Batteries is...
Hammer?
Oh, the hammer is going in, and it fails, but the triple ink strike kind of pushes SeaBae back a little bit, allows for some more space to be taken, and it looks like Grant's getting in there and getting some kills. Falls to the pencil though, but they do secure the lead with that 32-point lead.
That is a big number to make there, especially with that Fumiko just trying to clear the last of the space and get that on the line. Saren holding on to the bubble, looking for a shot. Epic takes one shot, misses, 2, no good, 3, sees Hayden, can't quite clean it up, but they do get the space back. That's a consolation prize there. Bubbles down to try to get a little bit more, and the Rainmaker will go back to 0. And it cancels and pushes a little bit further into that. They finally get punished, though. And the cooler from the side of AAA Batteries is the true victor here.
2 Zookas, and they could not push past that point. So it looks like AAA is going to push back and try and get past this first checkpoint. But another Zooka from SeaBae is going to try and hold them back. Not quite catching the Rainmaker, but they are... AAA is taking a lot of space, but they lost it just as fast.
Yeah, those 3 players down means this push is as good as done. Hayden just fighting for their lives for now, but that'll be the end of it over on the Great. And yeah, there's a little bit of moonwalking from Saren. Certainly not dominance, you love to see it. But 245 here on this next push. A couple specials up for SeaBae, and I say that both go down immediately. And I mean, it's just Quill with this Bazooka trying to make any amount of space. He gets picked, and Fumiko, last one standing, looking for any sort of pick. The jump, we'll have to wait until the jumps come back in.
Yeah, and it seems like the bubble wasn't really working in their favor. Their team wasn't able to push up with it, and the Rainmaker gets picked off, and we get a wipeout from AAA, which allows them to take a lot of space here.
That's going to be enough space, but they still have the lead, and they want to close it out for AAA. This could be match point here. Hayden sees the spot, gets it a little bit further, and maybe it was a little greedy, but they do get it to 27, so that's enough. That'll have to do for now with 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, and SeaBae is going to try and take mid back and get some specials here for this push, but we'll see what they can do now that they have the Rainmaker, Cooler, and a Zooka ready. The Zooka does go off. I don't think it got a kill, and the Rainmaker just countering that hammer instantly. But the Tri-Strike allows for the Rainmaker to get separated and for AAA to push up a little bit more. And Grant takes the kill on the Rainmaker and gets his team in a great position to keep pushing.
A lot of time bought off the clock there for the side of AAA Batteries. They know they have the lead. They don't need to push on it. And Grant's going to get out of dodge just to try to make sure they can live it. But at minute 20 means there's still at least a push. And if AAA Batteries can get control here, they can close it out. Serena's just going to go ahead and eat that bomb to the face with yikes. Rainmaker's back at mid now with the last minute on the clock. So special coming out. Grant doesn't find anything with the Zuka. And this is probably the last push here. His hammer is in, and that does find 3. That's enough space. They can go forward for AAA.
Yeah, that Rainmaker pop killed 2 of them, which could allow for them to push up, but it looks like they're down the shot, and it looks like they Stomp just got a nice pick on that right side. If they could keep the pressure up at this front spot, they might be able to push further, but I think they're just going to stall it since they do have that point lead.
Triple Ink Strike going to buy up a little bit of space for now, 30 seconds on the clock, and yeah, AAA Batteries look like they're content just to hold the line for now. They don't really gain anything by bringing it much deeper. Serena's going in, drops the bubble, can't quite get it, and Epic sending in their own, can't quite get it. No, 3 shots, 0 picks, so that means for now it's going to be something AAA Batteries does lose 1 finally, so this is SeaBae's chance to go in 20 seconds, and they can get 1 last shot of the push here. Goes over the ledge?
Yeah, they do secure the kill on the Rainmaker. They could get a push here in overtime and try and get the lead, but it's gonna take some effort.
This is gonna be down on the wire. Overtime is there. They get in just time, but it's just the Rainmaker, and that is the wipeout to seal the deal. AAA Batteries taking this round 1 0-2 and sending SeaBae back into the deep sea.
I'm curious what the group chat's gonna be like after that one.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be spicy in there. A pretty definitive win though from the side from the pickup squad of AAA too. You know, you normally don't see a lot of pickup groups make it into the cut section, but to even make it into the cut section and go past into 8 is a pretty big statement from AAA Batteries.
Yeah, they really came in with their, they really came in swinging. I'm gonna be honest. I was looking and they were 2-0ing a lot of teams, so I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I'm impressed.
I guess you could say they brought their AAA game to this one, so
wow.
That'll have to say that wasn't good. I'm not going to I can't accept that. But unfortunately, on that bad note, that is going to be the end for us, Putty. That's all we're going to be seeing. We're going to pass the mic off for the next round. So we'll see you after. We'll see 2 new friends after the break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the second half of Swimmer Sync 156. My name is Rocket. I'm joined here by Broken Pinky. How are you today?
Thanks for the intro, Rocket. I'm doing just fine and dandy. I'm excited to be here on SOS Wednesday here. We are going to have a fun little top 8 cut here. For this tournament, we have Go Offense and Acidity already queued up, ready to play. It's going to be a fun matchup, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, especially excited to see this new map, this map mode, Mahi Mahi Splat Zones. Definitely one of the classics here. What are your opinions on it?
I don't know. I have some kind of spicy takes about this map mode, to be completely honest.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just that there's so many. Once the water drops, it's all like one-way drops into mid, and that's not a fun prospect, especially because for any of the folks that caught the Prison Break tournament or stream that happened yesterday, Go Offense is going to be rocking with probably, I would imagine, some sort of range blaster, backlist, very aggressive kind of comp, true to their name. So I feel like they're going to be, playing in a way that's ready to capture these kind of drops. And I would imagine Acidity is going to be playing to a similar strategy.
For sure, and to add on what you're saying about the map dropping, it definitely opens up a lot of more space for these teams to work around, more just area control, and like you said, with these two teams being more aggressive side, definitely interested to see if they'll be able to adapt to that quick change. As around, I believe the 50 point mark, is it that it drops around?
I believe it's 60.
60? Yeah, around that. But yeah, definitely interested to see. Also, little inside joke, there is C on Go Offense. I don't know how many of you would get that reference, but there is the all-powerful C being able to 1v4 in a previous tournament.
I mean, there's also Enraged Jeff, who's my GOAT.
Yeah.
I love Jeff.
Power of Go C and the power of Rage Jeff. Definitely interested to see this for Go Offense. As we take a little peek here of the rest of the set, we will have Clam Blitz on Manta Maria and Tower Control on Manta Maria if need be following that. We don't see that too often. Two different map modes on the same map.
Are we double Manta gaming in this set? That's kind of wild. Yeah, okay. I'm receiving word here that it might be changed, but Clanless on Manta Maria is novel. Oh, it's Clanless Mako. Okay. That makes a bit more sense.
I can understand it. It's confusing. It's all M's. Manta Maria, Mako Mart.
There's so many M's in this game.
I know.
Well.
Okay, yeah, just realizing this now. We got triple M maps here. Mahi Mahi, Manta Maria, and there it is, Mako Mart.
Wait, there's 6 M's in this set. That's crazy.
Oh, Lord.
This is going to be a magical set. Truly, I don't know. I'm trying to think of another M word. Miku, there we go.
Magically mystified, marvelous, running out.
Gameplay, I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, Clan Blitz Manta Maria. I haven't seen this map mode often. I don't think it's
a blast from the past. Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been there in a while. Usually on Manta Maria you see tower control, but moving over to the game 3, tower control Mako Mart. I just love this map mode, especially as a blaster player.
Oh, me too. As a blaster player, waiter, more tower control, please.
Pretty much. As we move into this first map, we will see what the teams bring out. A decav on the side, on one side, and on the other. The double Splatana wipe. Splatana. That's definitely interesting to see here.
Okay, first off, shout outs to Estrogen on the Mint Decapitator. Base weapon, base name. Triple, double feeder, Neo Sword, and Junior on the side of Acidity was a lot more aggressive than I was expecting out of the side of Acidity. But Go Offense, starting off pretty well in this team fight. This Squeezer player is going to be able to laser people down, but not if they get taken down by that Wiper over there. This is an interesting comp matchup.
Yeah, with Go Offense initially taking the zone, however, the crowd trying to even things up, and 3 members of Go Offense actually fall as Vizzy with the Splatana just trying to keep members of Go Offense off the zone, just trying to poke at it. However, their counterpart Wiper also falls, so now trying to just try to get onto the zone, however, not being able to flip it, and Go Offense will actually now be able to flip the zone, trying to keep them out of the area. Strong push here initially from Go Offense, and now strong hold to try to switch the lead here.
Yeah, I feel like Go Offense is getting 2 picks for every 1 player that goes down, and that's already, boding very well for them, especially as they are a team with a cooler. But Acidity does kind of have them fake Jordans of cooler with just all the keywords that they're going to be running on the Tetra and the Wiper. Tetra is going to find a 1-for-1, but this Edit player, Omega Kraken, is going to be just phenomenal here. Just stuff out the combo of Acidity that just kind of wants to run forward, and Edit is generally pretty good at stopping that, especially, being able to track the high movement weapons.
Yeah, Acidity still full steam ahead, still being able to maintain the zone just briefly though, with 3 members falling initially and now more members continuing to fall. Go Offense now being able to farm this cooler, being able to get a good hold and advantage now with their penalty points nearing down, trying to potentially keep them out. The Junior already falling already. Acidity now with their respawn slightly staggered, needs to work together and group up together, potentially with a push in with this stamp, but no, Acidity losing 2 members, 3 members from Acidity go down, and potentially a staggered wipe. However, that last member being able to slip away. Now Acidity running out of time, needs to get a hold onto the zone here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like Go Offense, it was a very tight game. I think it was 68-76. That was a beautiful Zuka shot. My goodness, from the Squeezer player.
Just raw.
Yeah, very close game until it wasn't, and now we're in the wasn't part, and Go Offense is going to get a nice knockout there for game 1.
Yeah, the initial team fight made it seem pretty even. However, Go Offense just being able to get 2-3 members of Acidity down just in quick bursts. They were just continuously able to snowball and win these team fights, and pretty much won game 1 in convincing fashion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it felt like oh, nice fist bump. Go Offense, it felt like they were in a perennial numbers advantage, but even still, just, the feeding and aggressive nature of Acidity's comp and players was able to sort of keep up with that pace. But once, the water started to drop and Go Offense got a little bit more momentum going in there, the points just melted away, and they took it from 68 to KO without much opposition.
Yeah, it was never like a 1-for-1 trade or just any stalemate at all. There were always 2 or 3 members down on each side at any moment, and it was just crazy back and forward. And to bring back what you were saying earlier, that was a very, very fast-paced and aggressive game from both teams played.
Absolutely. I mean, the fun thing about this meta is that there's no stalling, no frills, no nothing. You gotta brawl. You can set up all you want with your cooler, but and pop all the specials you want to delay the inevitable, but you gotta brawl at the end of the day. And the team that's just gonna win the more fights is going to be winning it, and that's exactly what Go Offense did. And they seemed a lot more coordinated, which is going to bode well for them here in game 2, which is going to be on Clamless Manta Maria, which is kind of coordination incarnate with all the off angles and all the different ways you can push with clams on this map.
Yeah, definitely interested to see both of these aggressive teams on a map mode like Clam Blitz Manta Maria. To add to what you were saying about that, both of these teams definitely just go in your face, just run it down. I don't care if we lose 2 or 3 members, we're just gonna keep running it down, no hesitation, just continuously, just even we saw that Wiper with their entire team dead, just being able to be in a tricky spot. But now as we move on to game 2, as we move on to game 2 momentarily, not right now.
As we move on to game 2 in the future. Also, were those jackpot banners or was I tripping? Anyway.
That looked like jackpot banners, yes.
Yeah, I guess we're going to be on a little bit of a hold for game 2. We're just going to be waiting just a little moment, I guess. More time to speculate. What can we extrapolate from that game 1?
Yeah, definitely Acidity needs to change the way that I feel like they lacked a little bit of just coordination of being able to play together, as they were staggered throughout that entire I'd say 75% of that match. After that first team fight, they were just not able to push together, which was why Go Offense actually was able to just keep them out, because they were playing together.
I mean, the thing about playing Wiper Tetra, especially when you have a Stamper as your third, the Wiper and the Tetra have to be in perfect sync at all times, and if there's even a little delay or stagger, they're both gonna die. And then you're left with a Neo Stamper, which can't generate much offense on its own without special, and a Junior, which presses R and prays. So like if there's a little bit of a miscue, which is why Wiper Tetra is very high risk, high reward comp style, because anything goes wrong with your two skirmishers and you're kind of just forced to wait about 5 to 7 seconds for your whole team to regroup and get another chance. And on zones, that clock really starts to tick when you mess it up a few times in a row.
Right, and that's the main cause of why Acidity was just not able to counter with that. But although I do feel like Clam Blitz would be more accustomed to this Tetra Wiper combo, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of places to move on this map, so if Acidity wants to just send the Wiper to go somewhere extremely inconvenient for Go Offense, they can do exactly that. And it's going to be kind of hard for Go Offense to find it, so getting right back into it, these teams are switching sides a little bit. We're going to be seeing 52 Gal, Deco, and Splash be popping up on the side of Acidity, and we're going to be seeing Charcoal Decapitator brought out by Go Offense.
Yeah, different flavor of Decapitator, as you will. Definitely excited to see that Deco being played with the screen. Definitely a better allowed to initiate the push here as these teams start with the initial brawl. Go Offense getting the initial pick onto the Gal, getting another pick onto the Tetris. However, the Wiper being able to counter with 2 picks of their own as the Wiper just continuously just causing damage and pushing Go Offense back. Now with the map control and now with the Clams, they prepare for their next push here.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Karma. Karma is just truly unafraid and unbothered by everything. And Acidity, as a whole, is sort of starting to march forward. The Tetra is going to get taken down a bit earlier in a trade with the Squeezer, but even still, Acidity is, holding forward pretty well, but Go Offense is doing a good job of maintaining their street and just slowly starting to push up now onto this plat area where Acidity's trying to jump in. And most of the players have been clearing out. There's still, I believe, this Tetra over here trying to fight this Decapitator, but Decapitator is pretty strong against dualies, so that is going to be a pretty easy one fight.
Yeah, Estrogen continuously causing damage. What they were initially able to deny Acidity's first ball, but they are taken down. Tetra's just trying to cause damage against the edit, and they do now. It's just a range blaster on the side of Go Offense. Another counter by Acidity now with a clear shot at the basket. However, no Clams to follow up. Only 6 Clams to their name as now the members start to fall. 3 members start to fall. The ball not being able to go anywhere, and that is a wipe for Go Offense, turning the tide in an instant, and now Acidity on the back heel.
Yeah, it felt like Go Offense was barely holding on there for, a good amount, but that wipeout is just going to stuff all of it. And it's so nice that wipeout just displays in the screen as like a message of go, and Go Offense is doing exactly that. The screen there from the new 52 Gal is going to help, but not if they go 3 down in the enemy street. And yeah, that might just be enough for a push of this RB with 7 Clams and get close enough to the basket.
Yeah, however, the moment of opportunity is dwindling. They need to build this ball, and they eventually will now. Go Offense opening up the basket, a little bit of follow-up as well. Now, Acidity needs to take care of this Wavebreaker. The Wavebreaker now able to go away. Now, Acidity needs to take this opportunity to push in. And as Go Offense continues to keep this basket open and continuing to open their window, now a 2-for-1 trade on the side of Acidity, being able to potentially stop this push.
Yeah, wow, this Tetra, again, unafraid, sees the jump there, is going to get a nice 2-piece for Acidity to try and recoup some momentum a little bit, but Go Offense getting an early push, I guess not early, but getting a push down to 50 is definitely strong. Nice triple there from Cairo, though, and again, 1 fell swoop is going to regain momentum, and that's going to be the basket breaker for Acidity. Cairo jumping in with 7 Clams, but it looks like they're going to get taken down just short of the basket. Now Splash comes in with the power clam, trying to get a big score, but they get jump camped as well, and that's a nice wop out on Go Offense yet again, and Acidity had huge potential for more score, but just was not able to capitalize fully.
I feel like the wipeout message is just adrenaline added to Go Offense as they just continue to take these aggressive stances and being continuously able to just wipe Acidity off of the map. However, now on the back foot with only 2 members to work with, the edit just trying to back up, trying to get cooler for their teammates. Kraken, though, eventually going down, and they do eventually, Go Offense does eventually try to build a ball, potentially trying to just threaten the potential of a push. However, members of Acidity just converging on it.
Yeah, this is just, Go Offense is playing just, I feel like a lot more coordinated at this point. We're seeing a lot of great plays from individual members of Acidity, but Go Offense, just has just that little bit of extra coordination that allows them to get, these big 3 down, 4 down scenarios. And that's what, led to their big push. And that was what led to them having just these big spurts of advantage. Just a general defense and defensive coordination has been great for them. And right now, nice double there from Estrogen on the Charcoal Decapitator. Still in Jetpack, finds a 3rd as well. in the bunker of Vanta Maria, and Acidity getting delayed twice with just a minute left to go, and Go Offense already readying another push.
Yeah, Estrogen just seems to be the key in the forefront of the push, just being able to clear the way for Go Offense, but their Super Ball now deep into Acidity territory, and with Go Offense being pushed back, they're unable to capitalize on such successes. Now the Deco gal just trying to move up, trying to potentially Shark does manage to find a pick and just clear a way, cause a distraction for their team. With one clam away, they just need one more and they can potentially get this push. They need to get a clam in here to get this opportunity, and they eventually do get the pop. However, a third wipeout on the side of Go Offense, just being able to counter this. Now with 10 seconds left, it is looking dire for Acidity.
I think that's GG's on the set, honestly. It might be a 2-0 and a handshake. I don't know if Acidity has a pity claim or any kind of claims to begin with. And yeah, no overtime, no questions asked. Go Offense is going to be taking that set win in a 2-0.
Like, they've really lived up to their name. I mean, like, I don't know what more can be said about that. Just being able to just play off of the Decavitator, just being able to get these quick 2Ks, 3Ks from individual players, and being able to play together to make those, to help set up those individual plays is what ultimately won Go Offense the set there.
Yeah, and I mean, Go Offense, I mean, it feels like lately they've just been grinding these sort of open bracket tournaments. You know, they made top 4 in Prison Break last night. They're moving on to top 4 tonight in SOS. So, I mean, good up to them as a team. They've been doing pretty solidly so far, honestly.
Yeah, be on the lookout for Go Offense. A strong showing here, potentially even to more success. And I think they're a danger to everybody else left in the tournament, as we see how efficiently they were able to take down Acidity. Acidity, not a pushover whatsoever. They, like you were mentioning during the game, they did improve their team coordination, but it was ultimately not enough for the individual plays of the Decavitator.
Yeah, I mean, shoutouts to Estrogen on that Decavitator, both the mint and the charcoal variant, which both play very differently. So the fact that, you know, they could just switch between them in a single set, very impressive. And I mean, Decavitator, you know, after I think about what 48 hours of it being out, people thought, oh, this weapon sucks. But Estrogen showing that in the right hands, it has some sauce.
Yeah, little Genji slash, just being able to. Just the reach of it, like just the threat it has, I feel like it just is a carbon roller, but with just the range, just like the dash is so unexpected, and just the ability of the charcoal there to just lead the push and just being able to just basically be a menace and just say, hey, look at me, you have to worry about me, you have to keep me in your mind, you have to counter me to win. And unfortunately, Acidity just not being able to respond.
Yeah, and I mean, that big fat old hitbox is really nice, you know, because Viper and Tetra just try to, you know, outgame you and just mash a bunch of buttons and just wiggle around that left stick as much as possible. And Decavitator says, okay, idiot, I have big old hitbox that hits you no matter where you go. Deal with it.
Yeah, pretty much. As Go Offense moves on to the final 4. A little disappointed we didn't see Tower Control Mechamer, honestly, though, just because rain players.
Looking at the bracket again, I think Go Offense actually made it to top 8, earning themselves a date with Orca Ballestra, Seed 4 versus Seed 5 in that one. So that's going to be one to watch for sure. But another one to watch is the set that we have right up, coming up next, already queued up, 2-for-1 special here. We got Bonsai, we got Happy Birthday Azza.
Yeah, I love these names. I unfortunately don't know them, but I just love the little names here. Jojo, Oil, Mocha, Illusion, Oso, Azza. It's what's up with these little names?
I mean, first off, happy birthday, Azza. If it is your real birthday, happy birthday. And if not, hope you're having a great day.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday to all who celebrated on July 24th.
For sure. I think it would be a perfect birthday gift for them to win this tournament here. So definitely a little bit of team motivation on their side.
True, but I mean, Bonsai is quite the unlucky draw because they are a very strong collective of individuals. CJ, Goose, Hornet, Spec, I think some of these names kind of speak for themselves. Very strong team that, you know, I think is recently formed but is already starting to make it pretty deep in brackets. And they are a force to be reckoned with for sure. So this is going to be another interesting matchup here.
For sure, and just a reminder to you beautiful folk at home, we are now moving to a 5-game set, and the first map we will have up is Rainmaker Hagglefish Market. Normally we see zones on this map, but what about Rainmaker?
Yeah, it is kind of weird to see Rainmaker. You know, I'm used to zones, I'm used to tower. This map is kind of, you know, infamous for the gamer jump that I like to call it, where where you do a little magic trick, you wave your magic wand and 30 points disappear by pressing the X button at the right, or the B button, sorry. But there's also that left check route, which I think is only growing more and more, you know, important, because people understand that you kind of can't let someone score, you know, 30 points for free in the front route. So they're saying, okay, I'll push left where you're not defending, and then I don't know. This map kind of has its own meta, that's just been forming over the course of the 2 years of this game being out.
I fully agree with that. And as we take a look at these other map modes, something that does stick out as a little bit unusual to me is Tower Control's Sturgeon. Just something we don't see often. Spot Zone's Umami is a classic with 2 zones, obviously, on each side. Mid control being very important on that. Crab Leg, Capital, and Undertow Spillway are the 2 game 4 and 5 if need be, pretty standard. But Range Blaster I love on Tower Control Sturgeon Shipyard, especially on the defending, if you're defending against the other team's push just on your incline.
Yeah, I mean, the fun thing about RB is that, like, it's kind of just good everywhere now, which I love to see. I know a lot of people don't love to see it, and I say get good.
Pretty much, I share that.
Yeah,
I share that opinion.
It's good here. I have some thoughts about Tower Control Sturgeon, but you know what? We got a bit more Tower Control diversity. I guess that's fun. We get some new scenery to look at after, you know, pretty samey Tower Control rotation in maps. You know, your Inkblood, your Mako, your Haggle, all that cool sort of stuff. So we take a scourge to the shipyard. Why not?
For sure. Definitely interested to see what these 2 teams pull out. Any thoughts on these weapons and what we might potentially see here?
I'll be honest, I think I also saw Bonsai playing Prison Break last night. I'm going to be honest though, I forgot what they were running. I think it was a pencil comp with like machine and other and some kind of AoE weapon there, and then like shot and something else. But that doesn't really narrow it down, because I feel like that describes a lot of, you know, the comps in this meta. Who knows? We're just kind of going in blind.
Yeah, for sure. That if they do bring a pencil, though, that is just always going to be dangerous. Like, especially if they have the advantage, just being able to poke while being on tower, and just like basically denying any push. And I'm actually interested to see if either of these teams bring a bubble weapon, such as Junior or Roller, or anything as such, as Big Bubble is a really good special on Rainmaker, especially if your team can coordinate well, which by the looks of these teams being able to make it this far, they should be able to.
Yeah, I mean, we're in top 8 of Swimmer Sing. Let's just get right into it here. Game 1, Hagglefish Market, best of 5 series, first of such, but you know it's going to be that way for the rest of the tournament. We're seeing CRB come out. We're seeing a tent comp on the other side here, on the side of Bonsai. But Osa Wosa with the CRB, and also Tetra. So CRB, Tetra, Wiper, Zap. Interesting comp from Happy Birthday Ozza for sure.
Yeah, not running a backline and choosing NZAP as a cooler, just being a more upfront weapon. Tent on the side of Bonsai getting that first pick, just being able to be an annoyance, getting another pick as well. Goose continuing to just cause damage, and that's just the pain of facing Tent, honestly. You just have to get around that giant shield, and it's always annoying, especially in a game mode like Rainmaker, just being able to create an entire path.
Oh, there's that. It was the magic trick. Yup, and 40 points just disappeared in one fell swoop. Shout out to Goose with the support with the back, and is going to get instant pop. It's going to find 2 picks, and we might be seeing a wrap on game 1 here and now.
Wow, Bonsai winning that literally just on a Tent double or triple, and then a wave of the wand of the VAC. Really quick game 1 victory there.
If you ever ask yourself, why don't we see Rainmaker Hagglefish in tournaments nowadays? That's why. There's your answer. I'm gonna package that up, I'm gonna put a stamp on that envelope and mail it to your nearest address, because that right there is how this map feels like it goes like 80% of the time.
Bonsai just 1, 2, 3, just unable to respond is Happy Birthday as it just That's not much they could really do there. It's just like, oh look, giant tent shield. Oh, and our entire team is dead. And then there's a vac, and I trying to pull out a hammer. Nothing can happen. Just absolute beautiful use of the Brella and the vac. Just area control in general. Just happy birthday, Ozza. Just gotta be feeling like, man, we're just gonna have to remove. We're just gonna have to move on from that one because they cannot look back here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a feeling you just store in the vault and you're like, all right, I'll unpackage that later. We go next right now. And I mean, that's just kind of how tournament play goes in general. You know, you get kind of bodied in game one and you're like, okay, there's 4 more games, we're fine. So yeah, 4 more games. Let's get right into the next one, which is probably going to last a little bit longer than that game one. Zone's a new mommy, and we're just gonna get right into it.
Yeah, for sure. If they bring out that tent again, it's gonna be a really big annoyance. As we see these comps, the shot being showing up, and on the other side, tent does indeed come out again, and a pencil, more, I guess, meta and more universally normal comp on the side of bonsai now that the map mode is zones.
Yeah, and I mean, it's worth noting that Bonsai's dually is going to be running a QR set, so we're not going to be seeing that many crabs. I'd imagine this dually is just going to be diving in. Hornet, though, incredibly mechanically gifted, so definitely think it's a solid strength, but ooh, nice laser there from some member on Happy Birthday Ozza. Trades out with the rest of the members of Bonsai right now, but trades are happening right now in this opening team fight. Spec gets a direct trade with that Zuka, though, but even still, Happy Birthday Ozza has a fair amount of control in mid. Players of Bonsai are forced to jump out, and Happy Birthday Ozza has that lead, has a good amount of mid control, and we're starting to push up.
Yeah, and a beautiful kill there onto the Tetra dualies, potentially leading to a counter here. Another beautiful pick onto the end zap as this Brella and Splatana combination just clear the entire left field, just being able to deny everything. The dualies being able to masterfully just dodge away from that Zipcaster. Happy Birthday Ozza still not letting go of the zone, and they do manage to flip it back in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Happy Birthday Ozza just pressing with that advantage that they've been, holding for the, the opening of this game. Tetra's going to find a pick with that Reef Slider there in the pit. It's going to be brawling with someone else. Going to get taken down, unfortunately. But Happy Birthday Ozza is just content to continue cycling players in and out. And here's, we saw a bit of Wyvern Tetra that last set. We're seeing it a bit more here. A bit more of a coordinated setting, and Happy Birthday Ozza definitely making it work, but Bonsai is starting to push back a little bit. This pencil going to drop off the perch, trying to find a pick onto the Tetra, is going to do it with the help of the teammates, and that is going to be probably a zone capture for Bonsai.
Yeah, members of Happy Birthday Ozza just falling, and there is the wipeout for the side of Bonsai. Now just moving forward, taking space. They have minimal penalty points and are now chipping at that lead as Happy Birthday Ozza cannot be comfortable now. A good initial pick though on the Splatana to lead into the stamp, getting another kill and potentially pushing the pencil out of position and trying to camp the zone, trying to flip the zone. Here is the Splatana.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Happy Birthday Ozza is doing a great job of, prioritizing that top mid control and then sort of, flaking out from there. And that's been working for them really effectively, as far as retaking goes. It can be kind of a hard map to retake at times, but Happy Birthday Ozza is doing a great job, has clearly made a good game plan for this map, and it's working pretty well for them so far. They have the lead, they're starting to chip away at their penalty, almost ready to score more reports, but not a Hornet's Crab has anything to say about it, just doing a great job of painting the zone with those Expo-like shots. And now Bonsai rolling back out, trying to, get this cap back in their favor here. About half of this map timer has expired, though, and Happy Birthday Ozza still scoring some points with the penalty.
Yeah, however, as 2 members fall, their hold seems to loosen ever so slightly as more members continue to fall. The Zuka being canceled out, the Splatana, the duel over there for the ages with the Zipcaster. Tetra duel is just trying to get out of area. 2 members of Happy Birthday Ozza fall, and Bonsai able to get the flip now. They need to play around this tent a little bit, just being able to try to deny Happy Birthday Ozza any space. As I say that, though, the Brilla does indeed go down, and potentially Happy Birthday Ozza taking the point with a counter wipe of their own.
Yeah, that's a big wipeout in this stage of the game, because now Happy Birthday Ozza on the brink of scoring even more points, extending their lead, and there's only a minute and a half left in this game. Hammer finds the pick on Goose, the tenor baller player, that's been, the thorn in Happy Birthday Ozza's side for the majority of this map, and Happy Birthday Ozza scoring more points, but they are 2 down right now, as Bonsai is, starting to roll back out, has the cooler at there ready. This team fight is going to be pretty big for the match. This could either end things here and now, or potentially lead to an overtime, depending on how these teams play their cards.
Yeah, Goose now with the Brella and Zuka potentially trying to use them in tandem as a deadly duo, just trying to get rid of Happy Birthday Ozza members. The trade there from both dualies. The Splatana trying to get into space. He falls though as 2 members of Happy Birthday Ozza are down. Cooler available for both sides now. Bonsai with 50 seconds left with minimal penalty points going down, now looking to flip the lead late here.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of Bonsai's last hurrah for this game, but they're pretty much done with their penalty, only, you know, about 20 points away from the lead already. So Happy Birthday Ozza cannot rest on their laurels whatsoever, because this lead is about to get swept right out from under them if they don't get some picks fast. 10 points to go. They're 1 player down right now. Osa dropping in, but it's going to get taken down, going to get camped there. Picks are starting to happen a little bit, but Happy Birthday Ozza slowly dwindling in numbers and therefore in paint as well. But 4 points separate the lead between these two teams. Hammer coming out trying to make a miracle happen. Can this lead hold for just long enough? 28 to 30. Happy Birthday Ozza needs the cap, and they're going to get it with 10 seconds to go.
Yeah, as time dwindles down, Happy Birthday Ozza just needs to flip the zone one last time to potentially do this. However, Bonsai being able to eliminate 2 members of Happy Birthday Ozza now have a final overtime chance as penalty points go down here with about 55 seconds left in the match. Members of Happy Birthday Ozza, they need to push together as a coherent team here. They can't afford to rush in individually as the wiper does exactly what I said not for them to do, and the shot doing the same. Happy Birthday Ozza just trying to flip the zone, desperate, trying everything they can, losing members as they fall. The final stamp, just trying to delay it, but it will not be enough. Bonsai coming in from behind and being able to steal that game basically away from Happy Birthday Ozza.
You can never rest on your laurels in splat zones, because a few bad team fights, a few wrong decisions from individual players, and that just causes that entire game that was in your favor the whole way through to completely spiral out of control. And we saw exactly that. Bonsai just, you know, locked in, locked up, stayed, you know, focused. They knew what their game plan was. They knew that the game was not over, even though they, you know, in a crucial spot, they'd had the zone cap taken for them with just 10 seconds to go. They didn't panic. They focused on getting their picks. They focused on setting up control, and they got it done with a beautiful overtime comeback. So kudos to Bonsai, up 2-0 in the set. 1 game away from top 4 of SOS.
Yeah, Happy Birthday Ozza had that game in their grasp, but the first domino fell as just one member being just pushing by themselves gets easily picked, and just that man advantage just snowballed continuously as Happy Birthday Ozza just basically throwing specials at the zones, and uncoordinated, they were quickly shut down by Bonsai. Now, in the mind of Happy Birthday Ozza, you cannot be feeling good right now. First, you get crushed on Hagglefish Market, and now lose a heartbreaker on Umami. Definitely interested to see what they can change, but what do you think, Broken Piggy? What should they change?
I mean, I agree with you there, Rocket. That is a brutal twist of the knife for that 1-2. I mean, just getting completely shut out in game 1, and then game 2, you had it all, and it just slipped through your fingers at the last moment when you least expected it. Happy Birthday Ozza has to put something together, and this map right here for game 3 is not a fun one to try and recuperate a faulty mental state. Surgeon Shipyard, tower control. Let's just get right into it for game 3. We're seeing a double AoE comp coming out on the side of Bonsai with the bucket paired with that CRB. All very frontline weapons here on both teams. These teams are ready to brawl, but let's just see what happens here as we get right into it.
Yeah, Goose switching from that 10 Umbrella to the CRB. Definitely interested to see if they can cause continual damage. As I say that, they do get a pick right there, and now with man advantage, continuing to move forward, getting another pick, continuing to cause damage, cornering that Tetris player, and now Bonsai with the initial team lead and Cooler has momentum to push and score the first strike point.
I mean, Bonsai having momentum is just kind of a microcosm of the set as a whole. Hornet is going to find some picks there on that V-shot as well. Spec tries to find a pick under the sled. Is going to get the assist with the help of the teammate. Has strikes at the ready, and already Bonsai close to that second checkpoint. 2 down on the side of Happy Birthday Ozza. Strikes are starting to come out. Cooler's reset right now. already on that second checkpoint. We might just be seeing a knockout. Kraken is going to expire, so one last chance for Happy Birthday Ozza to keep this set alive for as long as possible. But CJ dancing around that pole for just long enough, but not enough for the knockout. Stalled at 1, but Goose is going to be enough as the last player standing to get that wipeout. Stares into the cameraman's soul and is going to lock the setup for Bonsai 3-0.
Yeah, and a little cheeky squid bag there, but honestly, when you're feeling it, when you're rolling like Bonsai, you just have to do it. As just being just that zap dancing on the on the tower for a lot longer than many might expect, and Goose being able to clean up on that just won them that straight up. And just these teams just living up to their names. I don't know if Bonsai is a reference to a bonsai charge, like Japanese bonsai charge, where you just go fuck it and just run straight at them, but but honestly, just because honestly, is that a theme here that we're gonna have? Just have an aggressive name and just dominate?
I mean, in this meta, you gotta brawl. You just have to scrap, and I think we're seeing that more and more creep up into the mid and high level of the scene. People just want to fight, and honestly, kudos, because that's way more interesting to watch. But like, you just gotta win these high pressure, high intensity, scenarios here. If you falter for even a moment, the rug's gonna get pulled out right from under you, and if you aren't on the gas enough, like we saw in game 1 and game 3, Bonsai's just gonna run all over you. So a 3-0 masterclass of aggression there for Bonsai, and for good mental and sustained pressure there over the course of that whole set. It's gonna put them in top 4. Happy birthday, Ozza. Knocked out, tied for 5th.
It is a somber birthday indeed for Ozza, just losing in heartbreak. Honestly, I think this entire set was just decided in that crucial game 2. Game 1 was a throwaway. You can just say, hey, we'll get him next time. Game 2, just dagger, just absolute kills your mental. And then game 3, they're just like already heartbroken. They were just playing not to lose, and unfortunately, that's just not how you can play.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to keep your foot on the gas at all times. So kudos to Bonsai there. Nice 3-0, getting the job done. It's going to force us to wait just a little bit as we wait for the rest of these sets to finish, though. Although DEMISE up 2-0 in their own set. Go Offense, Orca, Ballestra, 1-1 is the current score right now. And I think that was kind of to be expected. But yeah, we're going to be going to a short break. We'll be back with semifinals of Swimmer Sync number 156. So see you guys in just a bit with top 4.
Don't go anywhere.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the much anticipated semifinals match here for Swimmer Sync 156. I'm Broken Pinky, joined by Rocket, and shout outs to the homie Justin PIpedream, aka Techman, for keeping chat entertained while we waited for like 20 minutes for the set between Femininmenon and Firebend to end.
Yeah, for sure. Massive props there. Just pure entertainment, just to keep our mental states in check. But again, apologies for the long break, but we will get into it with the semifinals matchup between Femininmenon and Orca Ballestra. Or Ballestra. I cannot pronounce English, sorry.
No worries. Yeah, we got Orca Ballestra, we got Femininmenon. In the time that we've been waiting for the set to start, the finals opponent is set. So the winner of this is going to fight DEMISE for first place. The loser of this is going to fight Bonsai for third place. But these teams have to get through each other first. Orca Ballestra, one of the most celebrated teams of the scene, has been a perennial high and top level team. Recently got crowned Div 1 in the latest Ludi season. I'm not sure if they made playoffs or not, but still a very solid team that has been around for a while. And Femininmenon got a pretty big upset over the first seed being, you know, the Harshy, Dat Kid, Brock pickup group, Firebend. So pretty big upset from them. And, you know, Orca Ballestra also beat Go Offense, which we saw on stream for a bit ago. So both these teams had a perilous path to get here, but now they're fighting each other for a chance in finals.
For sure, and what's on the line is facing DEMISE in the grand finals, as you've already said, and DEMISE knocking Bonsai down to the third place match, who we just saw dominantly won against Happy Birthday, and just that means that this is going to be a tough matchup for whoever wins this and continuing that climb. But definitely interested to see which team rises to the occasion here. As we take a brief look at the maps, we will start with Humpback Pump Track on Rainmaker. Very interesting map indeed.
Yeah, starting on Rainmaker Humpback, one heck of a map mode for sure. I mean, we talked a little bit about a magic trick in the last set on Rainmaker Haggle, and while it's not to the same degree where there's, you know, a gamer jump that literally makes points disappear, you lay out the red carpet and the Rainmaker just kind of struts its stuff and the points just vanish.
Yeah, definitely interested to see Tent, possibly. Tent Umbrella, probably just gonna clear that lane that you were mentioning. Maybe some Reef Slider weapons, maybe a Dread Ringer, hopefully, maybe. I don't know, I'm just hoping for some kind of just chaos here, as Humpback Pump Track tends to the mid just tends to breed just chaos.
Yeah, this is always a fun map mode to watch because, I mean, like you said, Rocket, it is chaos incarnate. Like you can't rest easy on Rainmaker Humpback because no lead is safe. Nothing is sacred on the hallowed grounds of Humpback Pump Track. Like you gotta fight tooth and nail to the bitter end, no matter what's going on. And I mean, that's the game in general, but especially on Rainmaker Humpback. I've never seen more games just get won or lost in the last like 3 seconds than I have on this map. It's crazy.
For sure, and contrast to other maps that may have, like, obviously, like with the flow of the game, the front line shifts like forward and backward. With Humpback Pump Track, it is just a gladiator coliseum in the middle. There is just absolute fighting going on left, right, center. There is no front line. You can be dived at any time. It's definitely just, yeah, it is just a all-out brawl on this map.
And we also just received words from our good friends that it might be just a little bit of time for this next set because 2 of the players are playing Anarchy Open. So we're gonna be podcasting for a while, but boy, I tell you, this city, this has been a crazy tournament. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just straight steamrolls we have seen from this tournament. Straight 3-0s, not 3-0s and 5-0s. Not really too much competition put up. Hopefully that can change though. And if for you people who stuck around during the break, we had an introduction of a sentient streamer.
Yes, the streamer is living and breathing. We do not just have a robot, and we have a tortured poet of sorts just kind of maneuvering and MacGyvering their way through the I don't know, all all the trials and tribulation that IPL puts them through. So again, shout outs to Justin PIpedream for being a goated streamer. Shout outs to all the streamers for all the Splatoon tournaments and all that, because man, TOs and all that and all the people that work in the backroom work so much harder than they get credit for. So give them a thanks. They earned it. They work too hard for this community.
100%, and I'm on board with that. So much love given to all the much love send their way. Send it now. None of this is possible without any of them. Big thank you to everyone who made this possible. As we near the start of this next this first map, I want to shift us to look at these other map modes that we have listed here.
Yeah, I mean, we got TC Inkblot, which is a classic. We got Clamless Museum, which is a classic. We got Zones on Shipshape, which a bit less of a classic, but still a pretty solid map nonetheless. You know, kind of infamous for how good it is for specials like Trizuka and just other long range and AoE, you know, specialists. But pretty solid map. And then Game 5 on Rainmaker Scorch Gorge. Game 5 on that map is interesting.
Yeah, it will be a brutal just back and forth, just brawl, and like you said, being a Game 5, it is all or nothing if it is necessary.
I mean, screw Game 5. I'm dreaming of a Game 4, to be honest. We saw 2-0, we saw 3-0, and DEMISE has yet to drop a game all tournament. I'm sure DEMISE doesn't want to see a Game 4 in their finals matchup, but we've been seeing too many sweeps. I want to see some contention. I want to see some back and forth, and I want to see a 1-to-1 of some regard. I want to see some fight back from these teams. So let's get right into it. Game 1 here of semifinals, the long-awaited matchup between Orca, Ballestra, and Femininmenon.
Yeah, as we see these lineups, interesting pick with the ballpoint on the side of Orca Ballestra. Definitely not something you see every day, but glad to see it here. And a little guest appearance from Lil Nas X, pulling out the Bazooka, causing damage, getting the initial first pick onto said ballpoint, and another player falls, the Wiper on the side of Orca Ballestra, potentially leading to the first checkpoint grab, which will be the case. Femininmenon in a great position now.
Yeah, Femininmenon has a ton of forward momentum right now, even though Lil Nas X would never play V-Shot. I mean, still working out pretty well for them. Already have a checkpoint under their belts in about 30 seconds, but nice. 2 picks from Orca Ballestra there is going to return them, you know, to a neutral, so to speak, and allow them to have a chance to push, but not if they go 3 down and have the Rainmaker taken out from behind, right under the Slosher's nose. And right now, the Slosher, the last player alive for Orca Ballestra, taken out by the pop in a delayed wipe, and Femininmenon looks to be trying to continue their forward momentum.
Yeah, that Slosher was doing well in clearing a pathway, however, was not able to do much, as we actually get a wipeout on this side of Femininmenon. Orca Ballestra being able to beautifully shut down any further point push. However, now with cooler and momentum on this side, trying to push to get this checkpoint cap, which they should get fairly easily, as they do. And now Femininmenon on the back foot, just farming specials, just trying to wait out this next push.
Yeah, I mean, right now Orca Ballestra is trying to, you know, coordinate to push with their specials. We didn't even really mention the comps. There's a ballpoint on the screen. I love to see it, and I love to see Orca Ballestra getting the lead as well, with his Rainmaker just running forward, jumping, hoping for the best, and getting it down to 25 in the process. Femininmenon is going to try and regroup on their plat area, but Orca Ballestra rocking a very interesting unconventional comp with, you know, Zap, Ballpoint, Wiper. I mean, Zap and Wiper, Zap's been falling, Wiper's been rising, and a Ballpoint is just completely tangential to the meta, but Orca Ballestra making it work so far.
Yeah, I actually mentioned it in the beginning. You normally see an edit or rarely a ballpoint, and now Femininmenon with the Rainmaker and cooler in hand with specials going out, just raining down artillery onto Orca Ballestra. A member from each side falls. The Rainmaker falls on the side of Femininmenon, just stopping their push right in their tracks as the Slosher tries to cause damage, however taken down by the N-Zap. 2 members of Femininmenon down now, potentially now having Orca Ballestra trying to get control of mid, just trying to push out Femininmenon from their side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, Orca Ballestra just trying to, you know, keep themselves in advantage for as long as possible. Right now, mid control firmly in the hands of Femininmenon, and I mean, even if Orca Ballestra has the lead, It's not a safe lead. Not a safe lead whatsoever. No lead on this map is safe unless knockout. And Femininmenon trying to put the specials together and just make Orca Ballestra uncomfortable because, you know, that, you know, slight annoyance and panic is going to force mistakes that Femininmenon can capitalize off of. And right now, Orca Ballestra's 3 down, so even though Femininmenon is rolling back out, they still have a pretty good chance of getting something started here.
Yeah, but with the Wiper having a stamp, potentially trying to shut down this push in secret, the Gal trying to lead the way for the rest of their team, as Orca Ballestra are pretty close up together. The Gal just trying to cause damage, trying to cause distraction, trying to get a pick, however does fall, and now Orca Ballestra with the man advantage, just trying to take advantage of it. The ballpoint causing damage as members continue to fall. 2 members of Orca Ballestra fall, and just trying to dislodge that Rainmaker, as, like I said, the hammer cut the stamp, just causing so much damage and ultimately leads to a wipeout.
Yeah, I mean, that wipeout is pretty big, but even still, this Rainmaker is kind of trapped in mid right now. I mean, both these teams, I mean, Orca Ballestra is doing a great job of stopping Femininmenon from advancing safely, because right now, you don't really want to take risks if you're Femininmenon right now. I mean, the door is still wide open, but you're still down. You don't want to make any unnecessary risks, especially if you're Nilla trying to take on this 2v1 that's going to get taken down by the tag team of the Wiper and the Shooter in that corner. Wiper's going to get taken down, but, you know, going down with Cooler is not that big of a deal. And right now, Orca Ballestra playing very much to the clock right now. 30 seconds to go. Femininmenon running out of time, running out of chances at this point, so they really got to make the most of it, get some picks, and go.
Yeah, that Slosher, I think, is just trying to pocket that triple ink strike to shut down any final push that Femininmenon could potentially hold here. The Gal, again, trying to be the anchor, trying to lead the push, does get a kill with the killer whale, and actually Femininmenon able to take the lead, able to try to sneak by. A last-second lead change now with 5 seconds. Now the ball is in Orca Ballestra's court, as they now have to hurry and scatter to try to turn this back around. A great counter last minute there by Femininmenon. However, this last overtime push will decide the game here.
Say it with me, kids. No lead is safe on this map, and that pendulum definitely swings both ways, but not if Nilla has anything to say about it. Is going to get all the way behind Orca Ballestra, get the pick on the Rainmaker, and get the first game win in the hands of Femininmenon.
Femininmenon on the back foot for a good 2 to 3 minutes there, but a beautiful last second push there, being able to bring down the score to single digits, and the Gal play being able to swing around flank and get the jump on unsuspecting members of Orca Ballestra, secure game 1 for Femininmenon.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty textbook Rainmaker humpback. I feel like it was what we were all expecting, and it's what we saw. We just weren't sure which ways it was going to go, but Femininmenon got a great midnight push down to 9 points there. And Orca Ballestra just wasn't able to get organized fast enough. And I mean, that's the thing, you know, when the overtime horn is blaring, it's very hard to, you know, lock in and just get that extra noise out of your mind and just get a push going. And that lets you to, you know, forget. It's been great on this map since the game came out, even as viability sort of waned a bit over time, mostly due to Wavebreaker being kind of garbage. But even still, it soars on this map for sure. I don't know if either team's going to be pulling it out, though. I feel like both these teams are playing a very paint-focused game. So, I don't know. I think, you know, I saw a bucket there. I saw some sort of AoE, but I don't think AoE's going to be playing that big of a role. I think it's going to be coordinated pushes, and especially on this map, you really want to take control of the bats while on offense. So that's going to be the key. I was lying, actually. There's the series right off the bat.
There it is. There it is. But you were talking about the Slosher being played, and there it is again by Femininmenon. Just with the triple ink strike. Triple ink strike is deadly in tower control, especially if you have the lead. Just being able to deny that, and there is the first pick taken by the CRB, potentially trying to get another one, but they do end up falling. The kills even on both sides. However, Femininmenon being able to gain a foothold here.
Yeah, I mean, right now, first 30 seconds, tower has not really been touched, but Femininmenon.
But it's actually not tower.
Claims haven't been scored. Wow, I've been completely bamboozled, so to speak. But yeah, much different operation, I guess. Femininmenon has a power claim in the pocket right now, trying to get a score onto the basket. They're starting to get good control on the enemy plat, so let's just see what happens.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, why are there clams on the floor? Where's the tower? And turns out it's actually clams. But Nilla being able to try to get a foothold, but loses the ball trying to get in. Orca Ballestra now just being able to take over that area. The ball will fade and shutting down Femininmenon. Now, both teams barely have any clams, so it is still straight even. The ballpoint again still being pulled out on the side of Orca Ballestra. Now having the jet trying to cause damage with it. One member of each team falling, and now these teams are just poking at each other.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be careful with how you handle that ball. It's not as easy as some people make it look right now, but minute and a half expired in this game. No scores have really come out. That is kind of typical for Clan Blitz. I feel like, you know, especially when these teams are evenly matched. Nice Zuka from Lil Nas X all the way across the map, getting the headshot on the ballpoint. Trying to just clear up that backline pressure as much as possible, but really going to make it easier for Femininmenon to push. But, I mean, it's all theories until someone actually is going to make it to the basket. So we're in neutral, ball in the hands of heavy-headed player Swag. Tri-Strikes are coming out to try and clear the way on the enemy plat. Let's see what Femininmenon can make work.
Yeah, Swag moving in with the curling bomb, getting the initial pop now and just getting out as fast as he can. Trying to see if there's any follow-up. Little Nas, the closest member of Femininmenon to potentially try to get that, but will fall back, and no follow-up through that, although first blood is taken by Femininmenon in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they got first blood, but 80 is not a good lead. I feel like you can get much better scores, especially on this kind of map. But both these teams have been struggling, you know, with getting momentum generated whilst on the enemy plat. I feel like these teams are doing a great job of, you know, getting neutral wins and starting to push up, but once they make it to the enemy plat, it's kind of been a brick wall for both of these teams here. I would love to see, you know, that pattern sort of shake up a little bit. I think Orca Ballestra definitely could be getting a little bit more on the right now, but not when they go 2 down as soon as I say it, so that's just kind of rough. And delayed 3 down strikes are coming out. We might see another score phenomenon here.
Yeah, and it will be as such, and they just need to follow up on this. A beautiful follow-up following that, knocking down the score to 47. Femininmenon, sorry, I am stumbling, is now down 3 members. I knew I was going to stumble on their name eventually, but they do fall back. But a good secondary push there, but in doing so, now they are on the defensive, and Orca Ballestra now getting to work.
Yeah, shout outs to Femininmenon for, you know, picking a name that they knew that commentators would struggle with. So thanks, I guess. But now the viewers of the stream can watch some Schadenfreude in action. Right now, though, Orca Ballestra trying to organize a push of their own, not trying to capitalize on, or trying to prevent their own failures, so to speak. But right now, ball is going to make it into the basket. Ballpoint has a few clamps to throw in there, but they can take it down before they can throw them all in right now. And Orca Ballestra's push is looking to end. They've just been going 2 down much faster than they've been needing to. I feel like the survival of Orca Ballestra in these extended team fights has just not been there. And with a minute to go, game's been looking all Femininmenon so far.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad push by any means. However, you just hope for more, as Femininmenon just being able to have a great defense on that. As time is ticking down, we're nearing the 40-second mark. Femininmenon in the driver's seat. The gal being able to, the shot being able to get a pick there, just causing absolute mayhem. Just trying to be a distraction, drawing the ballpoint's attention, actually taking down the ballpoint, and now with 3 members down on the side of Orca Ballestra, they have to be careful with this, as clams are being thrown to try to feed and trying to build a ball, which will eventually lead to a pop. 15 seconds left. Orca Ballestra now staring down the barrel of a knockout as 10 seconds goes. Now they have to get at least 1 or 2 more clams for the knockout, but it will not look like that. Members of Femininmenon being pushed out now back towards mid, and now we are looking into an overtime situation, a dire one at that.
And they didn't grab their pity, so they didn't refresh it, so they only have 1 pity clan to work with when they could have 2, and that makes all the difference in this kind of scenario. But not if Lanke is going to be taken down right under Femi's inkjet, and that inkjet is certainly going to get camped by Graz, and that is going to be all she wrote for game 2. Femininmenon up 2-0 and 1 game away from denying the mythical game 4 and locking their ticket to finals.
Yeah, and during that entire game, Femininmenon were in the driver's seat the entire time, basically having mid control for almost the entire game. I believe the only time they really lost it was after their first initial push, and they were basically 3 down.
Yeah, I mean, Femininmenon felt like they were just fighting in a perennial numbers advantage that game. I mean, just like Orca Ballestra, they were starting to get some good stuff going, and it felt like every time that happened, they would just go 2 down. And Femininmenon just kind of were able to have their way in that the rest of that game. So that's a rough look for them as we head on to game 3. After game 2, I kind of have my doubts as to what map mode it really is. I mean, the screen says Clements Museum Dolphincina, but the voices in my head might be saying otherwise.
Yeah, we will get clearance on that shortly, but now we are looking at yet another sweep. We're looking down the barrel of another sweep, I should say. Orca Ballestra needs to dig deep and find and maybe change up their plan a little bit. But what can they do against Femininmenon, who was just in control?
I mean, sometimes it's as simple as you just got to stay alive, and sometimes like it's actually just a strategy difference. I don't really know which is the case for Orca Ballestra. There's a reason why they're playing in top 4 of SOS, and I'm just commentating it. But even still, like that. I mean, game 1 they had some great signs of life for sure. Game 2 that was rough. Like there's no real other way to phrase it. So they got to go in the lab. But I mean, Orca Ballestra, very strong team, very capable of adapting. They can definitely do it. It's just about putting your brains together and making some magic happen.
Yeah, and I want to stress that part of the game mentality is a really important part of it. We saw it in the previous match where the set was basically won in game 2 through to a crushing victory there, and Orca Ballestra just needs to take it one push at a time, one defense at a time, and one game at a time if they want to stay alive and keep their grand finals hope alive as we wait. And we did get clearance that it is Clan Blitz Museum de Alfonsino. I can never get that accent right.
Museum de Alfonsino, yeah.
A little accent, a little flair on it, as you will.
Flair. I've been missing that S1 flair, man. I missed out on Splatoon 1 when the servers, were about to shut down. I played it back in the day, but I haven't been able to go back to it. I really want to go back to it, maybe with Pretendo. I mean, what's that? Sorry, I never heard of that. Maybe with the power of my mythical time machine, I can go back and play Splatoon 1 and relive the good old days.
I know, I especially miss the times where you could just look at the pad and then call in an ink strike somewhere. That was probably my favorite feature.
Yeah, it's just go. I don't know. There's nothing to replace that, even though I feel like it's fairly replaceable nowadays with the mat worked. But what isn't replaceable is this game 3 of semifinals of Swimmer Sync 156. Let's get right into it.
Right, and as we look at these team comps, no major changes. Orca Ballestra continuing to stay with the same lineup mostly, but switching out to that blaster. Definitely interested to see how that would change now, being able to have access to the triple ink strikes. Initial pick does go in the favor of Orca Ballestra 2 actually, and now Orca Ballestra with a strong hold onto mid, but as I say that, members of Orca Ballestra continuing to fall.
Yeah, I mean, Orca Ballestra actually changed their comp pretty significantly. There's no longer the ballpoint there. I think the ballpoint player is now playing Zap, and I think Lanke, who was on Zap before, is now on 52. And now the blaster is a bucket, and I think the wiper is also new. So a lot of shifted around stuff. They definitely, said something's got to change, and Orca Ballestra trying to change it in a big way right now. But currently the map control is saying that Femininmenon is struggling just a little bit here. Orca Ballestra trying to get something going, but now Swag on this Heavyetta is, I guess, stuck in time for a bit. Never mind, they got the pick and they go down.
Yeah, and then that shot just getting the heck out of dodge, just trying to go back to their team with defense. This wiper with the stamp available, trying to be the initiation of the push. Just actually forget that, just being the push altogether, getting the initial first pop. However, with 3 members falling for Orca Ballestra, there will be no follow-up for this, as now with that being said, Femininmenon now having the ability to try to take control mid with this triple ink strike as well on their slosher.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Orca Ballestra did get a nice push in, and notably on this map, Clanlet's pushes are pretty hard to come by because this is one of the most defender-favored areas on pretty much any map, is just the enemy plat. the enemy spinner. It's so hard to move around it and get a good push substantiated through it. And we saw Orca Ballestra. I mean, they got 2 players on there, and they both went down fairly easily just because of how much defensive ground there is around the area. And now Femininmenon converting that beautifully into a push of their own, getting the pick on the Viper mid-hammer because functional special. Lil Nas X trying to go on this off angle and divert the attention to Orca Ballestra however possible and clear a path for the teammates. Kraz popping them tri-strikes, trying to make something happen, but Orca Ballestra strong on the defense still.
Yeah, the enemy spinner, like you've been mentioning, is always killer to try to get around. The Slosher, though, being able to peek around those edges, trying to get some cheeky kills. But the other Slosher as well, being able to get some pretty nasty angles with how the spinner is placed and where it is placed. The cooler being placed on the side of Femininmenon, trying to initiate a push. Now the special's going out. Zuka is popped. Triple Ink Strike is popped. No kills, though, as of yet, but is actually the ball that is dropped initially dropped again. Now 3 members of Orca Ballestra, however, are taken down, and now the floodgates are open. Femininmenon with plenty of follow-up, a really good wall to protect themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that splash pad was brutal. Lil Nas X missed that power claim, but I don't think that would have been scored regardless. But I mean, even still, 100-33 is a crazy push on the snap, and Lank is going to go down pretty early. Fights are happening in mid. Lil Nas X is going to preserve the power claim a little bit, just to keep that that form of pressure going in the favor of Femininmenon, because Femininmenon just has to continue applying pressure, because right now, I mean, the ball is in Orca Ballestra's court. They're down 0-2. They have to win this game to prolong the set, and they're down by almost 50 points in the lead, and like, it's at the point where 2 power claims is not enough to get the lead, and that is not the spot you want to be in, especially on this map with so little time left. But Orca Ballestra, even in spite of it, pushing forward, doesn't have a ton of claims at the ready, but they're on the enemy plat. They're trying to make something happen, but they go 2 down because this map is so dang defender favored, and that push just kind of fizzled out just like that.
Orca Ballestra is definitely feeling the pressure now, as they have a cooler trying to initiate a push here, trying to desperately get anything going for them. They do have the massive clam advantage, so if they get the pop there, it could be huge. 2 balls go in and the lead is cut. They need to get some follow-up on it, though. The gal in a critical fight with the shot loses it, though, and Orca Ballestra are taken out of commission now with 35 seconds left in the match. It is do or die time, as a member of Femininmenon, I think, just killed themselves on the side there.
Yeah, they fell off the map trying to do the flank, and I mean, Femininmenon still in a pretty commanding position, but that hurts to capture live on stream, you know what I mean? But last sec, still surging forward. You're gonna find that pick with the V shot onto Lank on the gal. Zap's gonna go down, and there's 10 seconds left in this game, and Orca Ballestra is 3 down, and Femininmenon readying up another push, trying to deny this overtime, but more than that, just trying to keep control of mid with they have the edit on that mid spinner, but they're gonna get taken down actually by the Viper. Well, Nostex gets taken down too, but Femininmenon just has a stall overtime. Orca Ballestra only has about 15 seconds left of overtime to get a push going, and they do not have a power clam in their hands. They don't even have many clams in their. We might just be seeing a 3-0 and a handshake set, and yeah, breaking the barrier, going to be doing it as Femininmenon beats Orca Ballestra 3-0 and punches their ticket to Grands.
Yeah, adding insult to injury on Orca Ballestra and killing my voice trying to confuse me. Femininmenon will continue and move on to grand finals, where we will see them face DEMISE. And with that being said, very dominant 3-0 win there. However, you did mention at the beginning of this that DEMISE has yet to drop a map.
Yeah, I mean, DEMISE, won both of their sets in groups 2-0. 2-0 against their first opponent here in bracket. Let me just pull that up real fast. 2-0 against BFSC, 3-0 over Consumes, and then 3-0 over Bonsai. So not dropping a game yet. Femininmenon has their work cut out for them, but I mean, they put on a show here against Orca Ballestra, one of the top teams of the Western scene. And I mean, Orca Ballestra is a very strong team. I cannot emphasize that enough. Game 1 and Game 3, they definitely showed that they had the capacity to win those games very thoroughly. But I mean, when chips were stacked, when the tension was at its highest, it was Femininmenon that was answering to the challenge and not backing down whatsoever. And I mean, Game 2, we really saw what happens when they get that momentum working in their favor. So I mean, I think Orca Ballestra just really struggled to stand up to that. And I mean, kudos to Femininmenon for just playing to their outs, getting another good upset under their belt, and readying up to make one more happen against what looks to be now the overwhelming favorite of the tournament.
For sure. And yet again, we have yet to see a non-sweep. Like, all of these matches we have streamed and seen so far have been sweeps. Now a heavyweight matchup waits for us in grand finals. Femininmenon, who we just saw, like you said, just on a roll, just unstoppable force, and waiting for them. DEMISE has been sitting, waiting patiently for their prey, potentially trying to secure swimmer sync 156 win here.
Yeah,
as we take a look at the maps. Sorry.
I mean, DEMISE it feels like the real unstoppable force here. We're actually just going to get right into it, I believe. Barnacle and Dime Clamblets for game one. I have to wonder if Femininmenon is sick of Clamblets yet, because they just played 2 games on Clams, and now they're on another one. It is very much worth noting that DEMISE has been, sitting and twiddling their thumbs and waiting for like 30 minutes for this set to begin, since, they had a 3-0 against Bonsai in semis. But it's also worth noting that they have Keen Says Good Morning. And yeah, Riku, Nick, Pulp, Keen, no surprise to me that these teams have not dropped the game yet.
Yeah, heavyweights there. But Femininmenon has been on a roll, and they just had the momentum of sweeping it. So I wonder if that may play a factor, as would you rather be fresh and go into a set fresh, or would you rather have that momentum behind you, knowing that you just be a team in very convincing fashion and now can continue it onto the next set?
I mean, I definitely have the momentum going for me. I mean, I think Femininmenon might want a bit of a break, because they've been playing sets back to back due to how much of a delay they had in their quarter set. But I mean, 3-1 into 3-0, those are 2 pretty strong wins, with little contention in both of them, and having that sort of wind in your sails can definitely take you a long way, especially against a team that is a little bit coming off the bench. I don't know if DEMISE has been trying to stay warm and open or anything like that, but regardless, I mean, Femininmenon just is coming into this match with more momentum, and it's up to DEMISE to try and answer that.
For sure. And on an open map as Barnacle and Dime, definitely interested to see any crab, any pencil, all these long range weapons just feasting on the open landscape. And as we take another look at this grand final set, we will have Splat Zone's Robo Ramen, always a treat. Rainmaker on Hagglefish Market, maybe see a little magic there again. And if necessary, hopefully we can see Tower Control Macomart, which we desperately wanted to see but didn't, and a game 5 if necessary, another Clam Blitz on Manta Maria.
Yeah, I would love to see a game 4. I haven't seen a game 4 in quite a while, to be completely honest. I would love to see some change of pace. I want to feel something. I want to feel some excitement. You know what I mean? Because you see so many 30 clips, and you're just like, show me some actual back and forth. Show me some game 5, some game 7, some game 9s. Give me something to scream about a little bit as we enter the wee hours of the night.
There isn't any other better moment than now to have some tension flowing, to have a close match than the grand finals, and just definitely hoping for more of a contested match than we have seen. I mean, we have seen contested matches, but not really contested sets, as teams don't really go back and forth. We haven't seen teams go back and forth quite yet, but hoping that changes to see some true excitement on the grand stage here.
Yeah, I mean, there have been 6 best of 5 sets played in the top cut. Only 2 of them reached a game 4. The rest were 3-0s. So most of the sets in this tournament have been fairly decisive ever since the top 8 cut. But these are the 2 final teams left in this tournament. We have DEMISE, we have Femininmenon. If there's any 2 teams that have a chance of being evenly matched in that race for the top, in that competition for the oh so highly coveted Sendo NFT, it's going to be these 2. So I'm praying I'm praying that we get a good set between these two teams. Femininmenon, of course, proved themselves to be great players. DEMISE, if you've been in the Splatoon community for the last probably year or so, you know that they're great players. I'm just looking forward to it. Game 1 on Barnacle and Dime Clams is an interesting litmus test for the set, just to see, you know, how these two teams are going to be coming at each other, because this is definitely a map that forces coordination. That basket is super far back, so you need to have a really good push going in order to make it all the way to the basket, especially if you want to get those classic pushes where you go from like 100 to 33.
Yeah, for sure. And I think whatever team's coordination and ability to snowball off of that is obviously just going to have a easy time of winning the map. And just to emphasize team coordination, that has been a killer for many of the teams that have fallen. However, these two teams have shown throughout that their team play is just off the charts. Just being able to coordinate specials, being able to pincer, take 2v1s, just their ability to do so has brought them this far. And to see these two teams clash now is definitely going to be a treat.
Yeah, and I mean, we've also been seeing a lot of great solo plays. I mean, we haven't seen them from DEMISE, at least not, you know, since we started watching the Great White Bracket a bit more closely. But Femininmenon, I mean, Lil Nas X on the V shot and Graz on the slot had, you know, a ton of clips of just, you know, highlight reels, it felt like. And I'm sure the rest of the players of Femininmenon have all been doing incredibly in their own rights, but no need to speculate any further. We are here for grand finals of Swimmer Sync 156. We got DEMISE, we got Femininmenon. Keen says good morning on the order stamper. We're seeing bucket, pencil, and shot, and we're seeing edit, shot, gal, and bucket here. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, Femininmenon not changing their lineup too much or even at all from the previous set, moving on with what has worked with them, what worked in the last set. Now, as both teams just start to farm their specials, Cooler already up on the side of DEMISE.
Yeah, I mean, 20 seconds in, we're rolling out. Just a lot of paint coming out all over the map. 2 go down on the side of Femininmenon, but Lil Nas X finds a headshot with the Zuka, and it's going to convert that into 2 more picks. Trying to find a third, but gets taken down by Keen in a full wipeout on Femininmenon. And Keen close to a power clam, and so Brochin also has their own power clam on that pencil as well. So 40 seconds in, it's looking pretty good for DEMISE so far.
Yeah, good killer whale to initially deny the first pop. However, DEMISE do end up mustering at least a barrier pop, but are quickly taken down by members of Femininmenon, now being able to turn the tide of that battle real fast. Now, with Lil Nas X farming the Zuka, being able to use it for this push, the triple strike does go out. Zuka now finally does go out, trying to dislodge members of DEMISE. No picks to be found on their side, though. Lil Nas X overheating a little bit, going in. Now 3 members down on the side of Femininmenon. DEMISE with a really, really solid defense, now being able to deny any pop.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with this map, is that if you get, you know, you can have everything going in your favor, you can have the advantage on the enemy blocks, but if you get too hasty trying to push forward, I mean, you can just kind of trip at the finish line. We saw that exact thing happen to Femininmenon there. I mean, we saw it happen to DEMISE a bit earlier, but they at least got a basket breaker, even if they got, you know, stopped a little bit short of their full potential. But right now, DEMISE just trying to stall. Keen has been doing so well in these up close scraps on the stamper, but it's finally going to get taken down by the triple threat on Femininmenon, and now trying to push back into mid. 2 minutes elapsed from the game's timer. DEMISE does hold the lead, but it's not safe by any means. Femininmenon can make something happen, sure.
Yeah, we have seen 4 pushes back and forward, where the attacking team usually just goes in way too hastily. These teams need to take a step back and just let a push develop itself. Like here with DEMISE having 2 members down, triple ink strike going out, and Femininmenon finally gets their push. However, any follow-up is shut down by that Zuka, and now DEMISE taking back mid, and now Femininmenon on their back foot.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Femininmenon, they did get the basket breaker, but not enough of a follow-up to get the lead back on DEMISE. So 1 point separates this lead. Definitely a bit of a teetering edge scenario of, you know, regarding the game state right now. Any power claim is going to, you know, change the swing of things a little bit, but trades are happening. These two teams have been struggling heavily with getting a good score. That's kind of surprising to see with teams, you know, of this caliber, but that just shows that it's really hard to get a leg up against, you know, it's hard for either of these teams to get a leg up, really. So 2 minutes left of this game, a little bit less than that regarding overtime. But even still, I mean, the player advantage is staying the same. Player counts not really dwindling much. DEMISE trying to stay stalwart here. They have power claims at the ready. They have something going for them here. Starting to paint up the map a little bit as Brochin paints, you know, the way forward with the pencil, but really just going to come down to these team fights, especially with the Zuka popping out.
Yeah, DEMISE with a major clam advantage, being able to hold on to 2 balls. 2 members of each team go down as these teams are trading kill for kill, blow for blow, not giving up too much ground. Edit does go down in the mid there. DEMISE finally getting a foothold into Femininmenon's side. Zuka going out, triple ink strike, ready for this push, trying to cause any this Lodge trying to get a pop. They do eventually get the pop to maintain their lead. No follow-up to be found though, and this is becoming a common theme here. One team just coming in with triple ink strikes, getting a ball pop, and no follow-up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard for either of these teams to really get something going in their favor much longer. We've just been seeing individual basket breakers and no follow-up. Nilla, though, is going to be winning that 1v1 with Nick down in the pit area, and right now Femininmenon readying up a great push, but you cannot get hasty. You cannot afford the finish line right now with 30 seconds left to go. Pigs are coming out though, 2 down to the side of DEMISE. Basket breaker and 1 more is enough for the lead here for Femininmenon with 20 seconds to go, and they can keep it going long enough to prevent an overtime if they play their cards right, but they're just opting for more scores. Finally a sustained push. Femininmenon is trying to leave it at 35. Nilla is still sharking here as the last player alive. So DEMISE has to get to 34 or lower to still get this game under their wraps.
Yeah, pay attention to Nilla here. They can be the key. They can be the key. They take down the ball, taking it out of the hands of DEMISE under their noses, getting another pick before they are taken down. That is huge. That has burned half of the time off of the overtime, and now following up, Femininmenon, the rest of their members follow off of a beautiful shark and end the game right there. DEMISE lose their first map of the tournament in a huge upset.
Femininmenon just racking up these upsets, and I mean, just shout outs again to Nilla, just sharking there on that side. As you know, that cannonball that hits the water, he finds 2 quick ones.